Just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
United States President Donald Trump recently announced a series of reciprocal tariffs, signaling a major shift in American trade policy. This move replaces the multilateral approach that guided United States strategy for decades with a bilateral model focused on country-by-country negotiations. While these tariffs are presented as directly proportional to the barriers other countries allegedly impose on U.S. goods, they actually are based on a widely criticized formula. This formula has produced a wide range of tariffs, from 10% to 50%. Many of these rates are repeatedly revised, often for reasons unrelated to the bilateral trade balance. This approach hits the world's least developed countries particularly hard. Consider Lesotho. For decades, successive United States administrations helped the country develop an export-oriented apparel industry through the African Growth and Opportunity Act, creating roughly 40,000 jobs. In 2024, Lesotho exported $237 million worth of goods to the US, but imported only $2.8 million in return, largely due to its landlocked status. Under the current administration's agenda, this translates into some of the steepest tariffs imposed on any nation. Although an initial 50% tariff was later reduced to 15%, and it remains a serious threat to Lesotho's economy. This regime doesn't just undermine World Trade Organization rules, it strikes at the heart of the multilateral trade system. Across the continent, economies are in the crosshairs. The United States delayed full implementation of these tariffs until August 7th to allow for bilateral negotiations, a move that further signals a global shift toward ad hoc bilateralism. Already, 75 countries have reportedly approached the administration to strike their own deals. A prime example is the Economic Prosperity Bill between the US and the UK. However, critics note that this limited tariff quota deal fails to substantially liberalize all trade, violating both GATT Article 24 and the most favored nation principle. Similar bilateral agreements have been reached with Vietnam, the Philippines, and Japan, with adjusting tariffs ranging from 15 to 20%. So far, no African country has secured such a deal. Zimbabwe was the first to respond, perhaps prematurely, by suspending all tariffs on U.S. imports in a show of goodwill. Meanwhile, major economies like Kenya and South Africa are still struggling to secure favorable terms amid mounting domestic pressure. Regardless of the outcome, the U.S. has clearly shifted to a transactional strategy. They are offering selective tariff relief in exchange for specific concessions or access to strategic resources like critical minerals. This take-it-or-leave-it bargaining leaves developing countries with little room to maneuver. Without the protection of the World Trade Organization, African nations could be pressured into exploitative agreements targeting strategic sectors such as raw materials, areas where Africa holds significant leverage but often fails to use it effectively. To prevent this, African countries must form a united front. By bargaining collectively, governments could leverage their strategic assets to protect the continent's economic interests. This includes pushing for exemptions for textiles, coffee, and minerals such as cobalt and lithium. Long-term resilience will require opening new export markets, strengthening South-South cooperation, and deepening regional integration through the AFCFTA. Africa cannot afford to be a passive observer. Through coordinated strategic action and assertive diplomacy, its government can help shape a fairer and more equitable global trading order.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Trafalgar Square, established in 1844, is a symbol of British naval history and a popular cultural spot in London. Named after the 1805 Battle of Trafalgar, it has been the site of celebrations, protests, and cultural events, representing the changing identity of the city. It houses several landmarks, like the Nelson Column, St. Martin in the Fields Church, and the National Gallery. The Nelson's Column, a tribute to a naval hero, is the main feature of Trafalgar Square. Standing 52 meters tall, completed in 1843, it honors Admiral Horatio Nelson's victory at Trafalgar. The column is topped with a statue of Nelson, and 4 bronze panels at its base show scenes from his battles. Surrounding it are 4 large bronze lions added in 1867, symbolizing British power.
Not just in its look, but this is very much the sort of centre of London. You know, whenever there's a celebration, a protest, it's a public space that's very important for a lot of not just people that live in London, but for the UK. You know, it's a place where people would congregate. You know, I remember being here all around the 25 Olympics, but it was very much one of the centerpieces of British iconic culture. Yeah, no, you used to be able to climb on the lions when I was younger, but you can't do anymore. So there you go. That's progress for you.
St. Martin's in the Fields Church, reputed as an architectural gem, was built between 1722 and 1726. It is known for its neoclassical design by architect James Gibbs, and is famous for its portico and steeple, and has influenced architecture worldwide. The church also a rich musical history, hosting concerts and helping the homeless.
Yeah, I actually came to London just on a little day trip, and then I remembered that this church sometimes has classical music on. So I just popped in, and there's no concert, but there were some people practicing. So there's a quartet of violins, and they made some lovely, sort of practiced for some classical concerts. So I really enjoyed just sitting there for 10 minutes, listening to it. It's lovely, it's a really nice church, and it's nice that people don't use it much time. So maybe just have a nice coffee as well.
The National Gallery, founded in 1824, is a treasure trove of art. Located on the north side of Trafalgar Square, it houses over 2,300 artworks from the 13th to 20th century, with free public access to masterpieces from major European artists.
I'm not really sure. I haven't been through the museum yet, but I'm here for a Christian heritage tour to kind of learn more about the history of the Protestant Reformation in England and Christian history here in England through the paintings that are in the gallery. So that's what I'm here for today.
Trafalgar Square blends Britain's naval history with modern art and culture. It remains an important public space, attracting millions of visitors each year to experience London's rich heritage and vibrant atmosphere.
Hello Lagos, make we yarn.
Hello, boy, this POS matter, don't pass your code. Listen, go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
They use fake alert, the warriors.
Okay, so wanna listen to If you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbuefi. They don't walk that road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development where they work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbuefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
Health remains one of life's greatest assets. Without it, productivity slows, dreams fade, and families struggle under the weight of medical bills. In a city as dynamic as Lagos State, access to affordable healthcare has become more than a social need. It is an economic necessity. That is why the Lagos State Health Management Agency, LASHMA, says it is taking the bull by the horns, driving compulsory health insurance, widening access, and pushing reforms designed to ensure that no resident is left behind. Present at the event were the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Health Management Agency, LASHMA, Dr. Emanuela Zamba, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Strategy, and Chief Host, Olanrewaju Bajulaye, the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, ably represented, officials from the education and health sectors, media professionals, partner organizations, including the International Society of Media and Public Health, as well as students and parents, all gathered for the quarterly engagement aimed at reviewing progress and strengthening public awareness. According to the report compiled by Praise Matthias, the program opened with the national anthem, followed by a welcome address that set the tone for a day focused on healthcare access, youth engagement, and accountability. Bajulaye commended students who participated in the Ilera Eko essay competition and praised parents for raising future leaders.
Let me welcome you all to this very special program. Very special one in the sense that today for the first time we are actually taking care of our future. I sat down there and I saw the children and I said to myself, anything that you want done, you should let it be done by the children. And it is not strange when the Bible says It's something that will go round and round and will continue that way. Some of us still hold on tightly to some things that we learned as children and is working for us today. So I will say that this is the right time for us to be here today. And children, I pray that you will not fall into bad health because you have taken the right path from now. You should go back to school and tell people about Lashman. When you get back home, tell your parents about Lashman. Tell your friends, tell everyone around you that government is set to bring health, good health to our various doorsteps. Our colleagues, gentlemen of the press, our work is done once the children buy into this. And that is what we have seen. Some of them have gone through competitions, they've gone through series of research, and they have come tops in various categories. I want us to please let everyone in the whole world know what we are doing here today. Our parents, we want to thank you because if you have not brought these children, they won't be here today. And I pray that you will eat the fruits of your labor and you will not fall into bad health. Your health will be sound.
Goodwill messages followed, with speakers encouraging young people to remain creative, impactful, and committed to solving social challenges, regardless of their chosen careers.
Now I'm to read the goodwill message on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, distinguished Professor Ibrahim Olatunji. First of all, I want to applaud Dashi for organizing such a competition. And again, I want to congratulate the winners of this competition. But the message is this to the future leaders, the leaders of tomorrow. I'm from engineering, the seven of our students in mechanical engineering is part of the winner. I said, wow, that's fine. That one simply means, irrespective of your field, you can provide a solution. And I want to applaud you, the future leaders, that you should not delay. Your ingenuity, creativity is appreciated. I know there will be many entries. For you to have one of the winners is a team that should be appreciated and we are appreciating.
The permanent secretary of the agency, Dr. Emanuela Zamba, expressed appreciation to all guests for being present at the engagement. Speaking on the reason for the parley, she noted that it is their commitment to remain transparent and be accountable, and it is part of their deliberate efforts to keep Lagos residents informed about their activities and achievements. On the policy update, she said the agency has intensified enforcement of the executive order mandating compulsory health insurance for all Lagos residents and workers. According to her, ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, have undergone compliance checks, while public-facing agencies can now verify enrollment status through their portals.
I'm pleased to report that in the first quarter of 2026, the agency trained 72 journalists in 2 batches in collaboration with ISMPH on social health insurance. Please clap for us now. They are the first to do so in the whole of Nigeria. This initiative underscores the critical role of health writers in amplifying the rightful message. We commend your professionalism and your continued partnership. You will recall operational efficiency, the agency has restructured its sales department, introducing roles such as cluster managers for the senatorial districts, area coordinators for the local governments and local council development areas. This restructuring enhances grassroots presence, expands access to enrollment points, and simplifies administration processes across the state. Healthcare providers are also being trained in line with the executive order. And the next phase of enforcement will focus on provider compliance.
Providing update on implementation of the governor's executive order, Technical Assistant to the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Nifesimi Akinagbe, said enforcement is progressing in phases. The first phase targets ministries, departments, and agencies. Future phases will extend to the informal sector, vulnerable groups, and corporate Lagos.
As our practice every quarterly media planning, we're going to be giving an update on Mr. Governor's executive order, EOPS 2024, and it's the order of mandatory subscription, mandatory enrollment on the Lagos State Social Health Insurance Scheme, which is called ILERA ECO. So what I've said in all that English is that ILERA ECO is now compulsory in Lagos State. That's what that executive order is saying. Apart from the baseline assessment at the MDAs, we also did what we call the facility compliance readiness assessment. We went into the facilities. So all these hospitals, we wanted to make sure that they were ready to provide quality services. So if we are saying that ILERA is compulsory is mandatory, we also need to make sure that the facilities are ready to provide qualitative services. And of course, also the areas of compliance approved for facilities as well, and we also check these areas of compliance. We did the first phase from the 16th to the 27th of March, which in this first phase we looked at the PHCs, primary healthcare centers, as I mentioned, and some private hospitals. So for the phase 2 and phase 3, we're going to the secondary facilities like the general hospitals and also the tertiary facilities, the federal tertiary facilities. Apart from public awareness and strategic engagement, one of our other major responsibilities as stipulated in the executive order is vulnerable coverage. So individuals that cannot pay for ILERA, they cannot afford it. The government has made provision, and that's what we call the equity fund. And this equity fund has been increased from 1 billion to 3 billion in 2025, if I'm not mistaken. And currently, we do what we call town halls. For individuals that have been enrolled under the equity fund, we go into the communities and conduct what we call the town halls in order to get feedback in terms of service delivery. And of course, from my presentation so far, you've seen that apart from ILERA being mandatory, we are so big on quality. The Lagos State Health Management Agency makes sure that we are giving care that is qualitative enough. And one of the ways we can know that the enrollees are receiving quality care is through feedback. And that's what we get through these our town halls.
To tackle affordability, Lashma also introduced ILERA Eco Easy Pay, a mobile wallet system that allows residents to save gradually towards health insurance premiums.
Okay, yes, interestingly, it's a child of necessity. Residents are asking for flexible options of payment. Things are changing drastically, so we needed to respond to provide an initiative that can avail people the opportunity to pay small, as we say. So they will pay money into their electronic wallet in conjunction with our partners. And when this amount of money completes the full premium, for instance, 15,000 for an individual, they can be activated and they can access care at the hospital end. There are other benefits that we'll be introducing as we get started, but we need to take it in phase by phase. So as we get started now, make your instrumental payment. When it completes, you can access care, continue your wallet savings, and then you can get interest on that savings and much more benefit that will be coming the ways of Lagosians as we continue to deepen the opportunity for this electronic wallet payment.
Have the opportunity to save gradually within a period of 3 months. You can save up to 15,000 naira and then we would activate for an individual plan. If you can save up to 55,000 naira for a family of 4, father, mother, and 2 dependents, you will be activated. If you can save 80,000 naira for a family of 6 within the state of Benin, is an electronic wallet. You'll be able to view from your phone once you put this wallet in conjunction with our financial and tech partners. That money is strictly for Indira Eco. But however, we will allow you the opportunity to be able to also use your savings such that you can also earn interest on that savings, but particularly for the purpose of health insurance.
Beyond policy announcements, the Parley also celebrated young minds through the Ilera Eco Essay competition, designed to raise awareness on healthcare, insurance, and universal health coverage. The competition attracted 731 entries, with winners emerging in 4 categories. In the Little Health Champions category for primary 4 to 6 pupils, winners received prizes ranging from 50,000 to 100,000 naira. The Young UHC Advocates category for junior secondary students offered prizes up to 150,000 naira. For the Future Health Leaders category, open to senior secondary school students, top winners received up to 200,000 naira. And in the UHC Innovators category for undergraduate and youths, the star prize stood at 250,000 naira. Winners were also decorated as Ilera Eco advocates, charged with promoting healthy living and health insurance awareness in their communities.
Ilera Eco is a scheme. Their idea is to make healthcare quite affordable and of a good quality to the residents of Lagos State. From today's activity, what I just want to tell residents of Lagos State is that they should enroll in the Ilera Eco scheme. It's a very good one.
I just want to say a big thank you to organizers of this competition and then this event. Thank you for honoring me with this award. I really, really appreciate it. I felt excited, I felt motivated, I felt thrilled because something to keep me motivated that success is not something that comes easily. It requires energy, requires consistency.
I feel excited because I didn't expect this opportunity.
I'm very happy so much. They are good to help family about debit. It helps family save money.
From policy enforcement to youth advocacy, from financial innovation to public engagement, the event reflected a clear message. Health insurance is no longer optional awareness. It is becoming a social responsibility. As Lagos continues its push towards universal health coverage, Lashma says transparency, collaboration, and innovation will remain central to building a healthier state.
Festivity is more than celebration. It is the soul of many communities. Festivals light up people's hearts, giving them a sense of identity, unity, and continuity. There are moments when culture speaks loudly, reminding generations to erode their values, norms, and traditions. In Anambra State, one of the most revered and celebrated festival is the Ofala Festival of Onitsha. Deeply rooted in history and spirituality, Ofala is not merely a royal ceremony, expression of pride, belonging, and resilience. It has become a unifying force, strengthening the bond between the monarch and his subject, while also positioning Onitsha on the global cultural map. According to research by Bayo Olaoye, veteran broadcaster and cultural analyst, the Ofala Festival has transformed into more than a cultural showcase. It has become a catalyst for socio-economic growth, contributing over 1 billion naira annually to local commerce through festival-related activities. This growth reflects in vibrant trade, booming hospitality, creative industries, and transport services that all thrive during the festive period. At its core, Ofala is our spiritual renewal. The monarch emerges from seclusion to commune with his people, marking the end of a sacred period of reflection and intersection for the community's well-being. Day 1 of the festival, known as Iru Ofala, is dedicated to the monarch. The Obi of Onitsha appears in majestic regalia, saluting his people to the rhythm of traditional drums, a display of authority, continuity, and grace. The second day, Azu Ofala, belongs to the people. Age-grade societies parade in vibrant uniforms. Dance troupes perform with energy. Entitled men and women honor the throne. The elite Uru Ordu women make their presence felt, while youths add vitality through the Ofala Youth Carnival, which has grown from a small-town procession into a major cultural feature. Together, these elements embody the inclusiveness of the festival, showing that Ofala is for everyone, regardless of age, gender, or social standing. The economic benefits are equally remarkable. Traders record peak sales, food vendors serve thousands, tailors and designers secure new commissions, hoteliers welcome visitors, and transporters enjoy increased patronage. What may appear as fleeting cultural activity, in reality, a vital revenue stream for the community. Beyond the festival, the momentum continues through initiatives like Onitsha Development Fund, which support entrepreneurs, women, and youth, helping to sustain cultural and economic growth all year round. For women play a central role, from the culinary teams that cater for guests to the Oru Ordu women who showcase elegance and tradition. Their contribution kept the spirit of the festival alive. The youth, through their carnival, embody continuity, ensuring that values of resilience, unity, and creativity are passed down to the next generation. In truth, Ofala is not just about ceremony, it is about renewal, identity, and opportunity. It tells the story of a people proud of their past, confident in their culture, and determined to shape their future. As Olaoye notes, the theme, often chosen for the festival, such as unity and perseverance, is more than symbolic. It is a timely reminder that communities thrive when they stay true to their roots, embrace resilience, and pursue collective progress. The Ofala Festival of Onitsha stands today as a celebration of heritage and driver of social-economic growth. It is proof that culture, when honored and properly harnessed, is not just memory, it is wealth, it is resilience, it is life. Ofala Onitsha, a tradition renewed, an economy strengthened, and a people united. Olumide Shokoya reporting for SOUQ News Television.
My name is Becky Elijah. I'm from UBA, so keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Esther Ashimi, keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Helen Otongwa. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Okoyemi Temiyemi. I am an entertainer. I am representing Egypt, as you can see. So keep watching SOUQ News.
Hi, my name is Nena Okavi. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Tom Aldo. Keep watching SOUQ News.
I'm Elizabeth from POS Services UBA. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hi, my name is Kelechi Agu. Keep watching SOUQ News.
In the 7th century, a new force emerged from Arabia, one that could transform North Africa permanently, not just politically, but culturally, economically, and religiously. Following the rise of Islam, Arab forces expanded rapidly across North Africa. Within decades, they had taken control of Egypt and moved westward across the continent. This was not just a military expansion, it marked the beginning of a new order. Islam became a unifying framework, influencing governance, law, and daily life. Arabic spread as a language of administration and trade. North Africa was gradually integrated into a wider Islamic world, stretching far beyond the continent. Trade routes expanded, linking North Africa to the Middle East and beyond. Goods, ideas, and people moved across vast distances. The region became part of a larger economic network, connecting Africa to global commerce in new ways. But this transformation was not immediate or uniform. Local tradition, identities, and systems continued even as new influences took root. Over time, a distinct North African identity emerged, shaped by both indigenous and Islamic influences. This reveals a key pattern. Integration into wider systems can expand opportunity, but it also reshapes identity and control. Today, Africa continues to engage with global systems through trade, technology, and partnership. The question remains, how can integration happen without losing local strength? Because history shows connection creates opportunity, but balance determines success.
Afrobeats is a classic overnight success story, except it didn't happen overnight.
I'm happy to be here. One of the key things about the Omniverse is that it's designed to go beyond an event and designed to be fully something that people can engage beyond the summit. The point being that Nigeria has so much to bring to the world in terms of these things, but we will be bringing fresh energy, fresh ideas, a fresh engagement, and we're obviously open to collaboration. But hip-hop, it never dies. What's the difference between Thor and Shango? Thor is approaching $50 billion in revenue. Shango's broke somewhere outside Lagos. And that's a lack of imagination on our part, Africa, and they're all Nigerian. So to be seen and to be noticed is very hard if you're not in the place where all the noise is being made.
Skincare from the inside out. Because beautiful skin isn't just about what you put on, it's about how you care for your whole body. Hello, my name is Emmanuel Olise, and this is SOUQ Health Tips. Let's talk about something that is seen every day in the clinic. People investing in expensive skincare products but overlooking one major factor: internal health. The truth is, your skin reflects what's going on inside your body. As a medical personnel, I can tell you that achieving clear, radiant skin starts far beneath the surface. Number one, nutrition matters more than you think. Your skin is your largest organ, and like every organ, it needs the right nutrients to thrive. Eat foods rich in antioxidants like berries, spinach, and green tea to help fight free radical damage. Include omega-3 fatty acids from fish and walnuts to reduce inflammation and keep your skin barrier strong. Limit refined sugars and processed foods, which can trigger acne and accelerate aging through a process called glycation. 2. Hydration is skin deep. When your body is dehydrated, your skin looks dull, dry, and tired. Drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water daily and eat hydrating foods like cucumbers, oranges, and watermelon. Pro tips: if your lips are constantly dry or your inner under eyes are creased, it may be a hydration issue, not just a skincare one. 3. Prioritize quality sleep. While you sleep, your skin goes into repair mode, producing collagen, regenerating cells, and balancing oil levels. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Poor sleep increases cortisol level, which can lead to breakouts, sensitivity, and early aging. 4. Watch your stress levels. High stress equals to high cortisol. Cortisol triggers oil production, inflammation, and skin flare-ups like acne, eczema, and psoriasis. Practice daily stress relief breathing exercises. Short walks, journaling, or digital detoxes can all help calm both mind and skin. 5. Support your gut health because the gut-skin connection is real. An unhealthy gut can lead to inflammation that shows up on your skin as acne or dullness. Add probiotics. You get your probiotics from your yogurt or supplements, and probiotics from garlic, onions, and oats to nourish your microbiome. Bonus, skincare products still matter, but they work best on a healthy foundation. Yes, your cleansers, moisturizers, and SPF are important, but they can't fix what poor diet, dehydration, or stress are damaging from the inside. In summary, if you want healthy, glowing skin, treat it like a system, not just a surface. Nourish your body, sleep well, stay hydrated, manage your stress, and then invest in a good skincare routine. Beautiful skin is a lifestyle, not just a product. I'm Emmanuel Elise, and this is SOUQ Health Tips. Remember, your skin listens to everything your body tells it. So let's speak health from the inside out.
The Nigerian National Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, was created in 1997 and backed by Act 2019 to enable the federal government of Nigeria through Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation actualize its critical and strategic mandates to research, develop, document, preserve, conserve, and promote Nigeria's natural medicine defined as indigenous medicine. 4 Director Generals had steered the affairs of the agency since its creation 28 years ago. A new vista, however, opened in the history of the existence of the agency when Martins Emeje, a distinguished pharmacist and professor of nanotechnology, was appointed as the 5th Director General and Chief Executive Officer in May 2023. Before taking on the mantle of leadership at the NNMDA, Professor Martins Emeje was the Chair R&D at the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, with many feats on drug formulation and R&D results to his credit.
I deliberately applied for this job. There was advertisement. I applied. I wrote the exam. It was an online exam. Nobody saw anybody. And 1 hour exam online. When you submit your answer sheet, you have a copy of the answer sheet that you have. So I have the copy of the answer that I submitted online that day. And that is my manifesto. So every month, I look at the answers that I submitted, and it guides me in the work that I do. As a researcher and proudly the first and only research fellow in Nigeria who is heading a research institute, I know exactly the problems of R&D in Nigeria. Because nobody in Nigeria has or is currently heading a research institute, and he went through the rank and file from being a trainee researcher to an intern researcher, an NYSC researcher, and then a research professor. this is the background that I have.
Call him a round peg in a round hole, and you won't be wrong, as he hit the ground running, leaving a lot of innovations on his trail, achieving great strides in the areas of education, agriculture, and health, thereby raising the bar in R&D in natural medicine for the agency. From May 2023, when he was appointed, within just a few months, 4 oral solid dosage formulation products were unveiled.
My greatest moment actually happened on 8th of March 2024, when the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Naji, came to Lagos in the campus of NNMDA here to launch 4 oral solid dosage forms. It was not just the first time it was happening in NNMDA, the very first time it was happening in Nigeria. We decided that we will go for education as a major target, as a major KPI. And we went for it aggressively and got accreditation to start a 2-year national diploma in natural medicine. So this agency, for the first time in Nigeria, we now have a school of natural medicine. It's never been heard before. It happened in this administration within these 2 years. Within these 2 years too, because the country saw that we had made explosive advancement in this area, we got upgraded to what we call an awarding body for national skills acquisition in traditional medicine. One of the best medicinal gardens that you can find in Africa right now is in this country, owned by the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency. And we did this these 2 years. In fact, two of our products that is waiting for Mr. President launch was we got our raw materials from our Nasarawa State Farm in Karo. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava in the world. Cassava. The only country that competes with Nigeria is Brazil. Yet, Nigeria does not have value-added cassava products. Yet, Nigeria imports starch to make pharmaceutical products. We made a presentation to the National Assembly, and the Senate of our National Assembly supported us. So we went into development of pharmaceutical grade starch. Today, we have pharmaceutical grade starch. In health itself, we have developed and submitted to NAFDAC about 23 different products. 23. And they are all at advanced stage of NAFDAC's regulatory assessment at this point. Now, 3 of such products plus 5 of what we did the previous years is available, and people, because we are a research institution not capacitated or competent by reason of mandate and skilling to do marketing, we do proof of concept, and we wait for entrepreneurs of pharmaceutical industries, nutraceutical industries, food industries to come take them to the market, right? But we also owe, because, like I said, the huge component of the Renewed Hope agenda is that people should be attended to, so that they know that they cannot lose their hope completely in their country. So in this environment, anybody who wants drug for hypertension, for malaria, for erectile dysfunction, for arthritis, for diabetes, for hepatitis, for about at least 8 different disease areas, they come to our pharmacy here to get the drugs.
The past 2 years, under the leadership of Professor Martins Emeje, has seen human capacity development like never before. A development that propelled the agency's researchers into breaking new ground.
This agency had never, in its almost 30 years of existence, had never participated in any local conference where researchers went with work they did in their own laboratory to go make competitive presentation. In our maiden outing in these 2 years, we won 2 awards. We went out for the first time and we got 2 awards. We took first position and we took third position. That is gold and bronze. When I came, I met researchers that have been here working for 15 years but with 1 degree. And I told them, you can't be a researcher with 1 degree. So I embarked on rigorous and aggressive drive to partner and collaborate with universities. So we went into that. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have at least 13 researchers and of the agency that are doing different postgraduate studies in different universities in Nigeria. I have a staff that was in Zimbabwe for 6 months. Now he has a master's in intellectual property. At least 7 of my staff have gone to India.
Quality assurance has been one of the top priorities of the NNMDA Director General and the accreditation of the agency's Laboratory and Product Development Unit for Pharmacy Internship Program by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria a year ago. Under the watch of Professor Martins Emeje, the agency recently graduated its pioneer pharmacy interns.
I went into nanotechnology or nanosciences after PhD, and I had to go out of the country to train in this area for more than 4 years. So it's an area that I'm keen about. I'm one of the first people, if not the first, in Nigeria to have put in practice nanotechnology. What it has done to me as someone who studied Western pharmacy, which is more like macro study, it is that it has taught me how to manage resources, no matter how simple.
The last 2 years has seen NNMDA signing important memoranda of understanding with reputable academic institutions and other critical stakeholders in the areas of training and laboratory services to Nigerian universities. As part of its advocacy and public enlightenment drive, the agency brought together critical stakeholders in the nation's natural medicine space for a national dialogue on rethinking natural medicine aimed at galvanizing the needed support and political will.
I want the president of Nigeria to just be coming on television and saying that people, natural medicine, no other thing. Natural medicine, let's do our own. Let's do our own. Let him just be saying it. Anytime he's talking to press, let him say it. Because once people know that this is where the president is, this is where his mind is, this is what his body language is, they will start investing in natural medicine.
A turning point for the agency was the resolution of the National Assembly on Natural Medicine Gazette. The visit by the chairman, House Committee on Legislative Compliance, was a further demonstration of the renewed impetus.
We cannot have 160 million people subscribing to something, and then the remaining 40 million people, you now want to say that foreign medicine, what we call allopathic medicine, that is the superior to our natural medicine. No, it's not. So when the House of Representatives passed that resolution, I told myself, I have now achieved. So what I was thinking would take me 4 years to achieve, actually, we got it done in 2 years. And it's one of the, so our target has actually increased. The best place to actually functionalize or operationalize Renew Hope agenda, Mr. President, is in the health sector. It's in the health sector. And I always tell people, 2 things that if you have security in it, then you are safe. Food and medicine. Any intervention, any project that we do, that it is not about developing our own indigenous resources. is short-term. It's not sustainable. The only sustainable form of development is indigenous development. So anybody who wants to give me support now, I will just tell you what I want. For example, I want all my staff to live in this compound. If you go to other countries of the world, all these staff of the research institution, they live inside the compound.
Inspiring a new mindset among staff and attitude to work, for the NNMDA Director General, the task of achieving the mandate and the vision of the agency is work in progress.
Optimism is a strategy for making a better future, because unless you believe that the future can be better, you are unlikely to step up and take responsibility for making it so. Responsibility is the price of greatness. How else can one explain the thought process of a 24-year-old youth leaving the luxurious comforts in the United States to fill in for his incarcerated father in sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, and run a family business holding the fort till stability was achieved? This is the story of Abdul Samad Rabiu, an unassuming, silent achiever. Samad Rabiu attended Capital University, Columbus, Ohio, and returned to Nigeria to oversee the family business when his father, Ishaku Rabiu, was detained by the administration of General Muhammadu Buhari for allegedly not paying the rice report duties. Not only was his father under investigation, the family business was under scrutiny. These harsh realities of being thrust right into the middle of it all shaped the young man's resolve to hard work in silence. Abdul Samad Rabiu is the son of one of Nigeria's foremost industrialists, late Khalifa Ishaku Rabiu, founder of Ishaku Rabiu and Sons Group, a family-operated holding company with a history of investment in manufacturing, insurance, banking, and real estate. In the 1970s, the group invested in manufacturing, with its first investment being the Kano Suits and Packaging Cases Company, a factory producing suitcases and handbags. In 1972, the Bagauda Textile Mill, manufacturing woven clothes for uniforms, importing and trading in different segments of the economy, including frozen food service, sugar, and a motor vehicle and parts distribution company specialized in Daihatsu products. Abdul Samad Rabiu was born with a very big silver spoon in the ancient city of Kano on the 4th day of August in 1960, 57 days to Nigerian independence. 24 years later, responsibility beckoned. He was in the family business till 1988. Abdul Samad Rabiu, following in the steps of the family business, established BUA Bois International Limited in 1988. Solely for commodity trading, Bois International Limited imported rice, edible oil, flour, iron, and steel. The much-needed wins to his sale came in 1990. The government, owners of the Dettol Steel Company, got into a contract with Bois to supply its raw materials in exchange for finished products. This was the young company's much-needed windfall. Bois expanded further into steel, producing pellets, importing iron ore, and constructing multiple rolling mills in Nigeria. Nigerian Oil Mills Limited, the largest edible oil processing company in Nigeria, was sadly bought by Bois in 2005. Bois started 2 flour milling plants in Lagos and in Kano. By 2008, Bois had broken an 8-year monopoly in the Nigerian sugar industry by commissioning the second largest sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa. In 2009, the company went on to silently acquire a controlling stake in a publicly listed cement company in northern Nigeria, SOUQ Cement, and began to construct a $900 million cement plant in Ogu-Ogbela, Edo State, completed and commissioned in 2015, which is at that time the single largest non-oil investment in South Nigeria, and had a capacity of 6 million metric tons per annum upon completion of the second line. This was followed by a new 1.5 million metric tons line in Sokoto in 2018 and another 3 million metric ton line, which commenced in 2020 and was commissioned in 2022, bringing the total installed capacity for his cement holdings to 11 million metric tons as of January 2022. Abdul Samad Rabiu is very entrenched with his family in business, having over 40 siblings. His younger brother, Rabiu Ishaku Rabiu, was the CEO of IRS Airlines Limited, an airline based in Abuja, Nigeria. He operates scheduled domestic passenger services. Its main base was Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The airline was established in 2002 and started operations in March 2002 and ceased operations in 2013. Kabiru Rabiu, our younger brother, currently serves as the Group Executive Director of Bois Group. In 2020, Kabiru was named the Best African Economic Leader under the age of 40 in the 100 African Economic Leaders for Tomorrow Awards by the French Institute, Chausseo. Bois invested $300 million in the 20,000 hectares Lafiaji Sugar Estate project, which comprises a sugar mill, sugar refinery, ethanol processing plant, and 35 megawatts power plant. The company also built an export-focused refinery in Port Harcourt, the only destination sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa. Abdul Samad Rabiu is constructing a 200,000 barrels per day petrochemicals refinery in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. The agreement was signed with Access of France in August 2020, with a refinery aimed at serving Nigeria and the West African petroleum refining needs. It is expected to be completed and operational by 2025. The privately owned Ogu-Ogbela Cement Company was in January 2020 merged with the publicly listed Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, where Abdul Samad Rabiu already held a controlling stake in the $3.3 billion transaction, and BUA Cement PLC was born. Abdul Samad consolidated all his food businesses in sugar, edible oils, rice, flour, and pasta milling into a new company, Bois Foods PLC. In December 2021, it was listed on the Nigerian exchange. Bois Foods emerged as a consumer goods leader in market capitalization, experiencing a phenomenal 206% year-to-date appreciation. Share prices soared from 65 naira per share in December 2022 to the current value of 379.9 naira per share as of 24th March 2024. In terms of fundamentals, Bois Foods exhibited robust financials with a 54% increase in profits to 105.6 billion naira in the first 9 months of 2023. Revenue witnessed an impressive 80.95% year-on-year growth, reaching 524.428 billion naira, and return on average equity stood at 43.42%. Despite challenges, Rabiu strategically increased its direct shares in Boa Cement by 56.37%, totaling 96.12% ownership. This move, executed on June 26, 2023, demonstrates Rabiu's confidence in his company's future growth. Boa Foods PLC and Boa Cement PLC companies are among the top 10 most valuable publicly listed companies in sub-Saharan Africa. From a relatively small company in 1988, Boa Group has grown to a world-class conglomerate, contributing significantly to the country's GDP, while providing employment opportunities for tens of thousands of Nigerians. Abdul Samad Rabiu's philanthropy is silently second to none. He founded the Abdul Samad Africa Initiative, ASR Africa, an African-focused fund for social development and renewal which seeks to support Nigeria and other African countries in the area of health, education, and social development. In October 2022, Abdul Samad Rabiu, through ASR Africa, donated $500,000 to the United States Agency for International Development, partner on tuberculosis control, HIV, and gender-based violence prevention efforts in Nigeria. Development of a 7.5 billion naira 200-bed specialist hospital in Kano State during the global COVID-19 pandemic. Abdul Samad Rabiu championed Nigeria's donation to this COVID-19 intervention by a single individual or corporate donating, amongst other things, 1.35 billion naira to the COVID private sector coalition, 300 million naira to the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, over 1 billion naira in cash donations to 10 state governments across the country, 70 ambulances, medical equipment, face masks, provision of foodstuffs for over 1.5 million persons in Kano, Lagos, and River States. ASR Africa Initiative donated a 4 billion naira police hospital in Abuja and donated 1 billion naira each for 6 universities across Nigeria through the ASR Africa Tertiary Education Grants Scheme for infrastructural development. The beneficiaries of the 6 billion naira tertiary education grant schemes are Ahmadu Bello University, University of Ibadan, University of Maiduguri, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, University of Ilorin, and the University of Benin. ASR Africa Initiative also donated 2.5 billion naira each through its tertiary healthcare development grants for health projects across 4 geopolitical zones in the country. These are in addition to 5 billion naira donated to build the first teaching hospital in Akwa Ibom State, donated 10 billion naira to the Security Support Fund of the Nigerian government. Abdul Samad Rabiu was awarded the 2022 CEO of the Year at the African CSR Awards, 2016 African Industrialist of the Year Awards by the All African Business Leader Awards, the 2022 Sun Man of the Year Awards, 2020 Vanguard Business Person of the Year, and the New Telegraph Philanthropist of the Year 2021, a recipient of several honorary doctorate degrees from various universities, including the University of Benin, Nasarawa State University, Sokoto State University, and Crescent University. Abdul Samad Rabiu is a fellow of the Institute of Directors, and he currently holds the prestigious Nigerian National Honors, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, Commander of the Order of Niger, CON, as well as the highest civilian national honor in Niger Republic. Abdul Samad Rabiu is married with children. His children are Mustafa Khadija Kuki Rabiu, Ishaku Khalifa Rabiu, Junad Rabiu. On the 22nd of January 2024, Forbes estimated Rabiu's wealth at $5.9 billion, putting him as the 6th wealthiest man in Africa and 508th in the Global Billionaires Club. The family man, the silent achiever, the giver, Abdul Samad Rabiu.
leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country, where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years, as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Bayo Olaoye. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional, but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted, sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways, from sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories. The Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather products is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues related to infrastructure, access to finance, and competition from imported goods. Additionally, there is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods, both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisans. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
We've got
got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
To start with, let me give some introduction to myself. As you said, I was a former commissioner of finance. I was a commissioner of finance during the Ganduja's administration from June 2015 to October 2018. I was there for 28 months, okay, as a commissioner of finance. And I had been with Bayero University, Kano, before I was appointed commissioner of finance. Still, I'm a professor of accounting in the university, but I double as a commissioner of taxation because at the Prince Abubakar Audu University, Ayumba, Kogi State, there was a chair that had been vested there by the Federal Revenue Service in 2011. And they invited applicant for that chair, and I was the successful person, successful applicant. So I still occupy that chair, even though the chair is not functioning. But I got the privilege of serving as the elected or selected professor of taxation in that university. So I am in the area of taxation. I have done a lot of researches in that. And then I serve as the Federal Commissioner of the Tax Appeal Tribunal. So it was on 15th November that our tenure came to an end from 2018 to 2024 November. So you can see that I have been involved at various levels on the issue of fiscal policy, tax revenue generation, tax revenue utilization. So this reform that we are talking about was brought about by the president with a view to maybe perfecting the tax system in the country. So he formed a committee to advise him as to how to go about coming up with very good national fiscal policy, not just tax policy, and then how to reform the taxes in the country to make them better so that Nigeria can compete with other economies that are advanced in the area of utilization of taxation as a means of growing up the economy and achieving sustainable development. So this I know, the process and all that have gone into this project of reform. So bills were developed out of the report of that committee appointed by the president under the chairmanship of Mr. Tayo Oyedele. And for the first time in the history of forming a committee in Nigeria, we had a committee that the president has given the power of implementation. So it's not just about recommending something to him. It is about coming up with a report which will be convincing to him, and if he's convinced, he will ask then to be involved in the implementation of the recommendation of the report. So I think that is why the committee just presented the proposed bill to him without taking this bill to the public domain. Because of the trust that he has on the committee, he just sent the bill to the National Assembly for consideration, for passage into law. And in the bill, they even gave deadline as to when the bill to be passed into law. they expected that the National Assembly would deliberate on this committee, on this bill, to the extent that the bill will be passed into law before 1st January 2025, so that by 1st January 2025, the content or the provision in these bills will begin to be implemented by the government. 4 bills were developed and proposed. And then, unlike the expectation, the comment you made that people are more concerned about the administrative, tax administrative bill. What the bill that is generating the highest controversy is the Nigerian tax bill. That is the bill that has made provision for repealing about 11 taxes that are currently existing, including the VAT itself, including petroleum profit tax, including personal income tax, including companies income tax, and other taxes like capital gain tax, casino tax, etc., etc. And then about 14 laws that are related to taxation, including laws that are designed to exercise control over consumption, over production. They made substantial amendment on them, and then take the amended aspect, amended part of those laws into the Nigerian tax bill, which means that the laws have suffered from, or they have enjoyed consequential amendment. So this bill, which is expected to become an act by 1st January, is now becoming an amalgamation of most of the taxes that Nigeria is using now. Most of the taxes, those that have been repealed, part of them, part of the provision in them have been injected into the Nigerian tax bill. Those that have been considered for consequential amendment, they are also captured in the Nigerian tax bill. And then they made a lot of paragraphing, creating part, creating section, etc., etc., to the extent that the content of that bill is about 220 pages. So you have to develop the stamina. You have to be used to reading before you read everything from the beginning to the end. And if you don't do that, you may miss a lot of things. And you may be talking ignorantly about the content of the bill. And unfortunately, that is what is happening in the public domain. You hear people talking ignorantly about the content of the bill. They just listen to news, radio, television. When they hear the comment of somebody, then they will amplify their comment ignorantly without reading the bill and understanding the content of the bill. So that is the one that is enjoying the greatest controversy. Of course, others too are enjoying some controversy. The Nigerian tax administration bill, because it is in that bill that the new sharing formula for VAT was stated. VAT will have been extensively explained or described in the Nigerian tax bill. But how to share the proceeds of VAT have not been captured there. That provision could only be seen when you go to Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, which is the bill that has been designed to show how the tax authorities in the country at the federal level, state level, and local government should be relating with one another so as to avoid conflict, so as to avoid a situation whereby all of them may go to a taxpayer with different dimension of claims. The bill was designed to achieve this main objective, to resolve the conflict that has been happening between tax authorities or even revenue generating agencies. Because when you talk about the revenue, we shouldn't be talking just about the tax revenue. You have revenue that custom is collecting. That bill, second bill, is saying that custom should no longer be involved in collecting revenue. It is the Nigerian revenue service that should be collected. Custom, let them take care of their responsibility of checking item coming in, item going out, which is another area of clash. These custom people, they are used to collecting money, okay? And they are used to, many of them, a lot of allegations are there as to how they are collecting this money, how they are not remitting the correct amount. So now, collection of custom duty will no longer be the responsibility of custom official, custom service. It's the Nigerian Revenue Service that should be collecting. The same thing with all other agencies of government that are considered as revenue centers. So that bill has made adequate provision to show that they know the moment this bill was passed into law, they don't have any power to collect revenue. It's the Nigerian Revenue Service that should collect. Let them deal with their own responsibilities of stabilizing the economy, ensuring control over consumption, over production, over whatever. But then collection of revenue is not their own. And then between the state internal revenue service and the Nigerian Revenue Service, there should be harmony. If there are revenues sources that are difficult for the state revenue service to utilize and generate revenue, they can bring in, they can collaborate, or they can reach agreement with the Nigerian Revenue Service to do the collection and then share the amount collected as per the agreement, or take cost of collection as per the agreement and then give the state internal revenue service or even local government revenue committee what they deserve. So the expectation of the Nigerian Revenue Nigerian Tax Administration Bill is to bring about harmony and understanding. So how that could be brought about is the question to be answered. Because of the nature of Nigerian, the nature of official, and the way the people put their eyes on money. They want to be the one collecting money or keeping money or doing something with money. And now you are saying that all those that are used to that, they have to, they will be suspended from doing that, or they will be banned from doing that. It is only that agency, Nigerian Revenue Service, that will be doing it. So there are some issues there that are calling for a question, okay, understanding among the agencies involved or the tier of government involved. And then, of course, patriotism to ensure that whatever we do as revenue collectors, as treasury managers, as revenue utilizers for the execution of various projects, we demonstrate ethics, we demonstrate honesty and integrity. The revenue agency itself, before now, the revenue agency is behaving as if it is for the federal government. And this bill that has been sent to the National Assembly is encouraging the Nigerian Revenue Service, which will now replace the Federal Revenue Service and the law that establish it. It's encouraging it to consider itself as a federation agency, not federal government agency. It is to be serving the interests of the federation. And so the concern of the state should be addressed by that agency. The concern of local government should also be addressed. It should be an agency that should be mentoring local government revenue agencies or tax authorities and state government revenue authorities or tax authority, so that they carry themselves together as a team, then ensuring that we have very good tax system in the country, that we have adequate revenue generation on taxation, which should be put to use for executing various projects that will bring about sustainable development in the country. So when you look at all the provision made in the Nigeria Revenue Service Bill, they are talking about the need for harmonious working relationship. They're talking about the federal Nigeria Revenue Service to serve as the model to state revenue service and local government revenue committee, so that they have very good understanding in implementing the provision in the Nigerian tax bill and the Nigerian tax administration bill. So all the provisions are like that. And then provisions have been made adequately as to the position of the executive chairman of the State Internal Revenue Service, the need for governing board, which should have that chairman as the chairman, the need to have the technical committee at the state level, and who are to be members of that committee, the whole and representation to be drawn from various MDAs and other agencies of government and federal government into the committee, and many other issues. And even at the local government level, there is a need for revenue, local government revenue committee, which should be chaired by the councillor in charge of revenue or finance at the local government level, and who the members are and their function. So when you look at all the provision there shouldn't be any controversy. Even if there will be controversy, it should be less, and it should be something that could be resolved. For example, personally, I will not support a situation whereby the chairman of the State Internal Revenue Service should also be the chairman of the board. This is against corporate governance system. And then the same person will be the chairman of the technical committee. The same person will be the chairman of the revenue joint committee, where all the representatives for local government will be members and other agencies. So it will be as if the chairman of the Internal Revenue Service at the state level will become the alpha and omega on all revenue issues in the state. And that person may even be seen himself to be more powerful than Commissioner of Finance. When I was Commissioner of Finance, I was serving as the supervisory person on all the activity in the Internal Revenue Service. The chairman of Internal Revenue Service should be reporting to me, should be taking orders to me. He shouldn't be going directly to the governor. But the provision is showing that the chairman of Internal Revenue Service is equal to the commissioner. And in fact, they were even saying that governor is just to nominate him and has to go to the House of Assembly for clearance. Just as commissioner will go to House of Assembly for clearance. And there is no provision to show that this person should be answerable to the Commissioner of Finance. So something like this, I think many people may not see it. But with my own experience as a Commissioner of Finance, who have been intimately related to the Minister of Finance that time, I know the problem many states were facing as they empower the chairman of the Internal Revenue Service, they empower too much the Accountant General against the Commissioner of Finance, who should be the supervisor to all these agencies of government. So issues like these are there, and appropriate action need to be taken by the National Assembly in correcting the lapses in the bill. Then the last one, which is about institutionalizing revenue board. Okay, a revenue board. Before we have joint revenue board. Before we have joint tax board. So now that joint tax board is an appendix of the personal income tax. It's just under personal income tax. So now, the drafters of the bill, they will want joint revenue board to be on its own, have a law supporting it, so that at the federal level where we have the chairman of the Federal Revenue Service, he will now serve as the chairman of the Joint Revenue Board. Then all the chairmen of the Internal Revenue Service at the state level will be members. Ministry of Finance will have a representative, Ministry of Budget and Planning will have a representative, and you have some other agencies of federal government that may send representatives into that board. So that board will be taking decision on monthly basis on where improvement should be made, how to solve problems between one tier of government and another, and many other things, which will be very, very beneficial to the president or the Federal Executive Council, and then beneficial to governors and the various state executive council on fiscal policy and on utilization of taxation to generate revenue and on utilization of the revenue being generated by these agencies. Because many people are having the feeling that the agency, they collect this money and they spend the money. But in real sense, they only collect. But they remit to the government, into the treasury of government. So while they collect, they have the responsibility of collection, they don't have the power to spend a kobo from the amount generated. It is the government that takes care of that. So the joint revenue board has been given a lot of responsibilities in that bill. So when it becomes act, become a law of itself, so the joint revenue board will now be more powerful than what we know before as joint tax board. So this is just the summary of the bill that have been sent to the National Assembly for passage into law. Yeah, my son is that we need reform in our tax system. As a student of taxation, I have the belief that no economy can make any progress if it doesn't have a good tax system. Most of the economies of the world, or I can say all of them, all the developed economies of the world, they are tax-based economies. And most of the natural resource-based economies, they are among the backward economies in the world. Look at it. All the members of OPEC, none of them is part of the G20. They have the revenue, they have the oil, they are producing it in great quantity, but they are still being considered as developing economies. Well, when you look at UK, Germany, France, US, other countries like that, they don't claim to be having enough revenue, enough oil to refine for their use and then to export the excess for sale. They don't claim for that, and that's why they don't belong to the OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. They base their economy on taxation, but then they have very good tax system, which is just attracting minimal complaint. And the moment they hear some complaint from either the taxpayers or the tax administrators, they take appropriate action immediately, so that at the end, nobody will complain. And because of the reliance on taxation, the citizen of that countries, both natural and artificial person, companies and individuals, the citizen of the country, as they pay tax, they have the right to demand accountability. They have the right to demand prudence. They have the right to demand transparency. And for that, those impositions of austerity, they are always in fear that whatever, if they steal a kobo, people will shout, this is our money. We contributed this money for execution of progress that will amount to a project that will amount to sustainable development, not for the money to be stolen. So this person that is stealing money, appropriate legal action should be taken against him. Sometimes you hear some leaders being hung. Sometimes you hear some leaders being shot, the firing squad, because of misuse of public money. So members of the public that are contributing this money in the form of taxation, they complain, and then they insist on appropriate action to be taken. So before you come out and claim that you want people to vote for you to go to the parliament or to be the governor or the president or whatever, you will have it in your mind that when you go there, you touch public money, that may be the end of your life. Because the contributors of that money will be, their eyes and attention will be on the money. And the moment you misuse it, they will take appropriate action against you. Your image will be tarnished. You may even lose your life. So those economies that are considered as developed, they rely substantially or totally on taxation for their development. And then those economies that are reliant on natural resources, oil, cocoa, solid mineral, whatever, as they use the money from this to execute projects, the members of the citizens of that country, both natural and artificial, they don't care if they see them stealing the money and abusing the money, because it's not their money. It's not their own contribution to the economy. Number one, the prohibition on VAT, what you said earlier has attracted a lot of attention from leaders in the northern part of the country. VAT could be addressed in two ways. Okay, the first way affect everybody, and then the second way is what the leaders in the north are complaining about. The first way is on the increase in the VAT rate. Increase in the VAT rate. We have never had a situation whereby progressive increase will be brought to VAT rate in any country in the world. From my region, I have never experienced it. But this is being brought about in Nigeria through these laws. They said VAT rate now, which is 7.5%, as per the Content of Finance Act 2020, will be increased to 10% from January 2025. Just about a month away. If the bills are passing to law, VAT will be increased to 10% of all VATable goods and services. And then just 1 year after, 2026, it will be increased to 12.5%. Then you have a small raise for 3 years. By 2030, the rate will be increased to 15%. So you can see the progression in the increase in VAT. And the moment you increase VAT rate, inflation will come up very powerfully, especially as you are increasing from 20 to 2025, 2026, you are increasing 2.5%. So the goods and services throughout the country, you see their prices going up. And there is no separate market for VATable goods and services and non-VATable goods and services. No separate market. Don't just feel that when you increase VAT rate, the increase in price will be on VATable goods only. All other goods and services, their prices will go up. And how do you survive that? Nigerians now are complaining about fuel subsidy removal, electricity subsidy removal, and many people have become unemployed. Many people have become disabled. Nobody, no any earner of salary can claim to be saving anything for investment. People are borrowing money to top up to the income that they have for survival. And those that have no work, they are complaining. We just finished induction for ICANN. About 3 inductees met me that if I have any chance for them to get employment, you are qualified as a chartered accountant and you are looking for a job. So what about the secondary school leavers, diploma holders, and other people that have not even attended school? So unemployment is on the high side. And increase in inflation is a killer to businesses, because when you don't have people buying, you have to stop production. You have to stop providing services. And when you stop production, you sack your employees. And then you have more people go into the employment market and labor market. So increase in the VAT rate is a very big killer to an economy. And this is a problem that affects all the states in Nigeria. And our president himself in 2020, I could remember, when they are trying to increase VAT rate from 5% to 7.5%, he came up and warned the government that this increase in VAT rate will be harmful to the economy because of the inflation that it will ignite. That was during his, I think, 68 or 69 birthday lecture. When he was to comment, he talked harshly against the increase in VAT rate. And now the same government is accepting the bill to go to the National Assembly for increase in VAT rate on a continuous basis. So I see this as a very big mistake. The timing is very wrong. And then the policy, the idea of progressively increasing VAT rate, especially as Nigerians are complaining about subsidy, fuel subsidy removal, electricity subsidy removal. So this is one thing that need to be looked into. And as we are interested in generating more revenue through taxes, particularly consumption tax, we have to be very careful about the consequences of the increase. And this is for the whole country. So that is one part. The second part is about the sharing of the amount that will be generated. Yes, right now, one bat is generated internally, and of course the one for custom, they put it together and share it using vertical formula and horizontal formula. Vertical formula between federal government, state government, and local government. So federal government takes 15%, state government 50%, local government 35%. That's how they share it vertically. And then for local government and state, since they are not at the same level in terms of population, in terms of level of economic development, in terms of weight for industrial development, so they have to use the separate formula. And they agreed that 50% of whatever belongs to state government should be shared equally. 30% should be shared on the basis of population. And then 20% should be shared on the basis of derivation. And that derivation, in the simple language, is about the contribution of every state to the VAT that has been generated. And at the local government level, they are to consider the contribution of each local government to the VAT that has been generated. Okay? So at the state level, when you say contribution of every state on the VAT that has been generated, consumption is much more in some states than in some other states. But then the formula, the derivation, the term derivation, this date, that is being applied now, is giving priority to states where the head offices of companies providing services and goods are located. You do consumption in Adamawa on services, maybe the recharge card and other communication or telecommunication services, or bank services, or insurance services, or whatever. So since you are just dealing with the branches there, the head office of the bank producing these services is in Lagos or in Rivers or wherever. So it will be deemed as if you do the consumption there. And so the credit will go to Lagos or Rivers or Ogun or wherever, where the headquarters of it is located. Not where you do the consumption. So at the end of the day, you see that states like Lagos, its own contribution may be 50% or 60% or more every month. At the state like Rivers, its contribution may be about 15% or 20%. Abuja may be about 10% or 50%. And then the heavy consumers, the northern state, like Kano, which is a commercial center, its own contribution may be 1% or 2%, because it doesn't have the head offices of the companies providing these goods and services that are being consumed there. So at the end of the day, you see that 20%, if it is 6 billion, for example, if it is 6 billion, for example, so 60% of that 6 billion will be about 3.6 billion. That will go to Lagos. And then 10% of that 60% may be about 600 million. It may go to this. And then you, the consumers, you may get 1% of that. So you can see that particular 20% is the cross of the matter. That is the basis of the controversy. So now that this bill has been submitted to the National Assembly, then these people saw that this derivation has been increased to 60%. 60% instead of 20%. Now, not previously, right now, 20%.
Right now, 20%.
And it has been jacked up. The deflation has been jacked up. And then in the law, derivation has not been defined. But then people have to go by what is happening now. As they go against it, since now the derivation is about contribution of state that are producing these goods and services being consumed. So they have the right to just say that, oh, so now instead of 20%, it will now be 60%. And then you hear the government functionaries, including members of the committee, saying that no, that's not what they mean. They mean area of consumption. This 60% graduation is about consumption area, not location of the headquarters of company that produce the good or services. You should have defined that in the law. When you say the issue of derivation has been increased to 60%, but what we mean by derivation is this and that. So that controversy will have been avoided. Or you go under the interpretation section. And so as you are interpreting this and then you say derivation. By derivation, we mean this and that. That has not been done in both the Nigerian Tax Act and the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. So you can sympathize with the people complaining. And then if it goes like that, if they don't correct it at the National Assembly before passing into law, the moment it is passed into law, they will go back to this issue. The suspicion that they will just go back to a pleasing state where the headquarters of the companies are located, because there is no definition that says that it is about consumption. So everything needs to be documented. Yeah, in a society that is well informed, you should always talk on the basis of evidence. And evidence in accounting, we said you prioritize when you are to prioritize between two evidence, verbal and written. Written is more important than verbal evidence. Okay, and that is why in court, even if you say you give verbal evidence, they want to write it down and read it for you. Then you sign, or you put your thumbprint that yes, this is your comment. Because written evidence will continue to remain. Verbal evidence could be denied in a later date. So these are two issues, all based on that. And then you can appreciate why people are talking too much on this matter, to the extent that they don't even care to notice other lapses that in the act. But they, as student of taxation, I have to read and try to pinpoint lapses that need to be corrected so that we have a perfect reform on taxation or on revenue generation in our dear country. So you see, I saw provision on development levy. That there will be development levy, and that development levy will be 4% of accessible profit of companies whose turnover is more than 50 million per annum. So their accessible profit, 4% will be charged as development levy from 2025 to 2026. From 2027 to 2029, development levy will be reduced to 3%. From 2030 and up thereafter, development levy will go down to 2%. So that development levy will be the reason for wiping out other development levies that is used by some government agencies that are providing vital services for this country. You have TED Fund, Tertiary Education Trust Fund. Now they are relying on 3% of accessible profit of companies for all the projects that they are executing across the country. TED Fund, as I hope you know it very well. So it's the one that is most of the infrastructure development in federal university, federal polytechnic, federal college education have been executed by TED Fund. They sponsor lecturers of various institutions to go for further study, to attend conferences. And they have what they call National Research Fund. They take care of all the researches that are being conducted by all these tertiary education institutions using that money. So TED Fund will now get some share from this new development levy. And then you have NIDA, Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency, which is given the mandate of making Nigeria to become an ICT economy. And that agency is relying on 1% 1% of the profit before tax of GSM companies, banks, insurance companies, etc. These are companies that are pushing for ICT technology development. So the agency is the one to be monitoring the activities, and they want to be funding ICT development in various institutions and taking many other measures which should take Nigeria to ICT economic level. You have NASENI, Nigerian Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. So that is an agency that has been given the mandate to make Nigeria become science and technology economy, to promote local manufacture of cars, local manufacture of motorcycle, and many other things that we show that we have grown up as an economy that can compete with all these developed economies. So that agency is also relying on a particular share, I cannot remember, from what internal, I think, Federal Revenue Service is collecting. And now the government has introduced NELFON. So NELFON is collecting 1% of the total taxes, levies, etc. that are passing through the Federal Revenue Service. So these are 4 agencies of government that are relying on levies, charges, etc. for them to take care of the mandate given to them. So this development levy is designed to ensure that 3 of them are phased out systematically. Only NELFON, which is for giving loan to students, will survive. By 2030, that 2% that we are talking about, from 4% to 3% to 2%, the whole of that 2% will be for the NELFON. While all these have been put aside, it's up to the government to decide whether to disband them or to put them into the mainstream budgeting system. So in 2025 to 2026, TED Fund will get 50% of that 4%. And NEL Fund will get 25%. NIDA will get 20%, NASEMI will get 2%. So by the end of 2026, NASENI, NIDA will no longer get anything from that development levy. So they will be on their own. It's up to the government to decide whether to pay them out or to continue to fund them through the budgeting system. And then by the end of 2029, TED Fund will not be getting anything. Well, from that 27 to 29, they said TED Fund will be getting 66 and 2/3%, and NELDA will get 33 and 1/3%. That is what will happen for 2028 and 2029. By the end of 2029, forget about TED Fund. It is only NEL Fund that will be getting that 2% development levy that will be charged. So you can see that by 2029, all these 3 agencies that have clear mandate for moving the Nigerian economy forward, they may either be phased out or they may be taken back into the mainstream federal government budget. And agencies that are used to being independent, are going to working on target, how can they survive under the mainstream government budget? So the other implication is that as you have only NEL Fund, even before transferring everything to NEL Fund, NEL Fund is there to give loan to students. All this money that will be coming to you just for giving loan to students. So this shows that a Nigerian student will mainly become debtors. And when they become debtors, will they have the mouth to complain about the government being a debtor nation? Nigeria as a whole becoming a debtor nation. Every day loan is increasing. So students too will now become debtors. Secondly, the federal institution, all these federal universities, they are not charging tuition fee up to now. They only charge registration fee. University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, Bayero University, Kano, ABU, all these federal universities, and many of the state universities, they don't charge tuition fee. just to encourage children of the poor to attend university or polytechnic or colleges of education. So as third point is put in place, nobody can claim that he or she cannot pay tuition fee. And then no university or polytechnic should be going to government asking for money. In fact, government may even give them target of the amount that they should be remitting to the government. Because you are charging tuition fee, you are charging registration fee, you are having enough money to take care of yourself. And then we want you to remit something to us because we own the Federal University College of Education Polytechnic. So at the end of the day, you see that students will become debtors, students and their parents who insist on making sure that their children attend universities or polytechnic or college of education. And then the universities will no longer be complaining about insufficiency of funds because private universities are not complaining of it. They have their founders who are funding them and they are charging fees. Some are even charging 2.something million per semester. In Nigeria here, some are charging 2 million, some are charging 1.5 million per semester, and some per session. And so they have a lot of money to execute various projects, to pay high salary to their staff. And then the private universities, they are complaining that no money. When you go to go, they say no money. Even for execution of project, they either tell one to do it for you, or you go cap in hand as for support from individual and organization to execute project for you. But now that you are allowed to charge fees, and the student, if they don't have money to pay, or their parents don't have money to pay, to go to NELCOM to collect loan for the payment of the tuition fee and the registration fee, and even for living costs. And the method is very clear that when you borrow such kind of money, you will start making repayment 2 years after graduation. And even 2 years after graduation until you get a job to do. And then from the job that you are doing, you'll be paying 10% annually up to when you finish paying the loan. How will that be feasible in Nigeria? How would that be feasible? So this provision too is a matter of concern. Yes, for people that will look about what will happen in the future. Look at the implication of the policies contained in that bill. Okay? So I am of the opinion that to correct these lapses, they should just stop at the first formula. When you collect 4%, you increase the rate to 3%, as again to 4%, as again 3% for third point, in order to accommodate other agencies, and you stop charging the other rate. And then, so the first year they said 50% will go to third fund, which is like reducing what third fund is getting from 3% to 2%. I hope you understand. When I say 50% of 4, that is 2. Before third fund is getting 3% of the accessible profit. So we can manage with the decrease from 3% to 2%. And then NEL fund, which is the baby of the government, will give you 20%. Okay? Then NISDA, which is having very clear mandate of making the Nigerian economy an ICT economy, 20%. Then NASENI, 5%, saying we don't care much about the technological development that may come to manufacturing cars, motorcycle, etc. We give them 5%. And then allow them to look for means of further funding themselves. So you stop at that, but not to scrap any of these agencies. So that's my own advice. Okay? So that is another important area that need to be addressed in this bill before they are passed into law. In taxation, as I said, we encourage payment of what you can afford. A situation whereby, this is my own personal opinion, yes, and people may feel that I am in support of taxing the poor. No, I'm not talking about the poor. Anybody that doesn't have income, that doesn't have profit, that doesn't have gain, it should not be considered for taxation. But if you are making some gain, you are making some income, no matter how small, and you are paying something no matter how small out of what you are gaining, that will make you to have greater moral right to challenge government. But if you are put outside the tax net, you are not contributing anything, you don't have much moral right to come and challenge the government for inefficiency, for poor accountability, for poor transparency. When I was Commissioner of Finance, I had called to be organizing some town hall meetings with small, medium, micro, small, and medium enterprises across the market that we had in Kano. I will invite their leaders and inform and address them. You see, we are introducing presumptive tax. We are doing that with a view to ensuring that you own the government. You own the government. This government belongs to every one of us. But then those that are contributing money into running the affairs of the government, into executing various projects for the state, they have greater stake than those that are not contributing anything. And no matter how small your contribution is, you have the right to claim ownership of government. So many of them were encouraged. So I say, okay, you are in this business, you are at this level. How much can you afford to pay as your presumptive tax? So we say they themselves, yeah, they will accept, yeah. So there was a time that we had meeting with some of them. I was saying that you are too small, or maybe every month you should be contributing 100 naira. Some say no, if that group of people can contribute 150, we can contribute 200 naira every month. Through engagement, interaction with the micro, small, and medium enterprise, you can arrive at something that they will be contributing in the form of presumptive tax. And that payment will make them to have the pride of becoming taxpayers. And they will be having their eyes on how government is spending the money. But the situation whereby you come openly and say that you are pushing away about 90% of the people out of the tax net. So you are only relying on 10% of people for the payment of tax. So you are saying that you are now taking the whole of the government to 10% of people, or probably 1% of people. My worry is about that threshold. The fact that you have threshold does not mean that somebody that is not at that threshold, who is making money, cannot contribute with a view to owning the government. I hope you understand. My concern is about ownership. Taxation is a way of owning the government. So if I pay tax, like now I pay tax, I know every month they deduct something out of my salary as a lecturer in the university. I will look at my pay slip and see the contribution that I have made. So if I need tax clearance certificate, I can go there and collect it, whatever reason. But you that are not paying anything, what tax clearance will you ask for? Okay? And then if something bad is happening in government, you see them stealing money, do you have any right to complain? Is it their money? What have you contributed there? So a situation whereby we want people to be economically empowered, to own government. And then we are now having a reform that is saying that is even proud to say that about 90% are made not taxable, even presumptive tax. So in other words, I am of the view that as we claim for transactional tax to be paid by the rich and luxury asset to be taxed as that are at the lower level, they should also be paying some presumptive tax, even if it is 10 naira per month or 20 naira per month, so that those rich people claim that the government belongs to them, this one too will say, yes, the government belongs to us. So provision like this is not there in the act. All they are just claiming is that they have pushed people away from the tax net, and pushing them away from the tax net, just pushing them away from ownership. So you are just surrendering the whole of the government to very few people who will now be teleguiding those in the position of authority, and you will just be asking for help all the time, where you can also claim ownership with pride, or no matter the amount that you are contributing to government. The other aspect of it is this absence of adequate provision in the Act on property tax. Property tax, yes, property tax. Like I was talking about luxury asset. Those with luxury asset, they need to be taxed on the value of this luxury asset so that we generate more revenue. Those that are doing a transaction of high volume of money, they need to be taxed for this transaction. That's what we call transactional tax. So you can see that as we are talking of relieving the poor or income earners from tax, from this tax rate, we are not talking much about taxing the rich in the bill. It is not clear as to how properties of the rich people in this country who are very small. Someone was even telling me that in Nigeria, where you say 99% of the wealth of the country is in the hand of 1% of the people in the country. That 99% of the people of this country, they own only about 10% of the wealth of the country. What a gap! If this is true, we have not done any study empirically to ascertain this figure, but you can see some sign of it, and you need taxation to bridge the gap. And then as you are arguing for the bridging of the gap, you now have a reform that is throwing away 90% of the people from the tax net, and then the people drafting the bill are even proud to say it. So I have reservation on this. If I find my way, I will agitate for appropriate correction to be done. And that does not mean that I'm agitating for the taxing of the poor. I'm talking about those that can afford. They are not for the personal income tax rate, but then they pay presumptive tax with a view to owning the government, with a view to ensuring that the government is not allocated to only the very few rich. And then these few rich, in the other way around, there are no adequate provision, there are no clear provision to see how their wealth will be taxed. No. If you look at all the statements that we making, there's nowhere that I mentioned that the North is having this agitation. I'm just talking to you about areas of concern in the law. Areas of concern. I think I only made reference to the North when it comes to this issue of sharing of VAT, that the governors and regional rulers in the North, they are forced to raise alarm, and they raise alarm on this matter only. But all the other matters that I mentioned, they have not said anything. Maybe they have not seen them. They don't have this perspective that I have. Okay, so I am a Nigerian first before becoming a Northerner. So I talk as a Nigerian. My concern is about the Nigerian people, and the Northern people are also part of Nigeria. Yeah, you see their position, or the worry they express is just about the injustice they suspect from the issue of VAT collection and sharing. And even that provision has been made perfectly, I doubt very much if they will complain. And then secondly, they may be having the suspicion that the drafters of the bill were just reading the mind of the president. A president who was a governor in Lagos State, who developed, people are just having the feeling that he was the one that developed the Lagos agenda, which is about making the Lagos State to have a special status in Nigeria. And special status is just about maybe putting it into a position higher than other governors, but not up to the level of the federal government. And then when you are targeting that special status position, then a lot of things could be designed that will be favoring Lagos. So those that are attaching the bill, one, they are doing that in view of the formula they discovered, which may not be, will not augur well for them on the VAT allocation. And then secondly, they may be having the feeling that this law was just designed to favor Lagos State in the course of its own effort to become a state that has special status. Okay, it says so that will make it to be seen as if it is a country of its own, even though it's not up to the level of country, but it is higher than all other states in the country. Probably this may be the reason why they are agitating. The one that you can see clearly is on this issue of BAT, and then they have other suspicion. So that is another worry that I have. The issue of trust. Trust, what some experts call trust deficit. Yes, will be promoted greatly by this bill if corrective measures are not taken. All these issues that I mentioned, I did that honestly as a Nigerian. By all standards, I should be accepted as a Nigerian. Even by virtue of my past, people should accept me as a Nigerian. I don't have any reason to be sentimental against any part of this country. I don't have any reason to be favorable to one region against another. I don't have any reason for that. But even by virtue of my birth and my own level of experience, okay, and of course by my age, somebody that is around 60. So that person should only be thinking about what you meet when you die, when you reach your goal. Okay, so I think to be fair to them, we can say that their worry is mainly about that issue, and then all other issues are suspicion.
Afrobeats is a classic overnight success story, except it didn't happen overnight. I'm happy to be here. One of the key things about the Omniverse is that it's designed to go beyond an event and designed to be fully something that people can engage beyond the summit. The point being that Nigeria has so much to bring to the world in terms of these things, but we will be bringing fresh energy, fresh ideas, a fresh engagement, and we're obviously open to collaboration. But hip-hop, it never dies. What's the difference between Thor and Shango? Thor is approaching $50 billion in revenue. Shango's broke somewhere outside Lagos. And that's a lack of imagination on our part of Africa, and they're all Nigerian. So to be seen and to be noticed is very hard if you're not in the place where all the noise is being made.
As Nigeria marks International Women's Day, the country's political leadership continues to reflect a significant gender imbalance. Despite constituting nearly half of the population and more than half of registered voters, women hold only a marginal share of elective offices, accounting for just about 4.7% of political leadership positions nationwide. The disparity is especially glaring in the federal legislature. Women hold only about 4.5% of seats in the National Assembly. That is, just 21 out of 469 lawmakers, placing Nigeria among the lowest-ranked countries globally for female parliamentary representation. At the state executive level, the picture is only slightly better. While Nigeria has never elected a female governor, women currently serve as deputy governors in 8 of the 36 states. These women represent about 22% of deputy governorship positions in the country, bringing diverse expertise from engineering to academia into state governance. The emergence of these female deputy governors represent incremental progress in a system historically dominated by men. Their leadership demonstrates women's capacity to shape policy outcomes at the state level. However, Their small numbers also underscore the structural barriers, from cultural norms and party dynamics to financial constraints, that continue to limit participation. As Nigeria celebrates International Women's Day, the stories of these deputy governors serve as both symbols of progress and reminders of the work still needed to achieve true gender parity. In our next episode, we shall take a look at women's representation in the Senate, which remains critically low and stands as one of the starkest symbols of political underrepresentation. Nigeria's economic debate has focused primarily on JAPA, the emigration of skilled professionals. But a quieter shift poses a more immediate structural threat: the aging of the country's farming population and the absence of a generation willing to replace it. The data points to a system that is no longer reproducing itself. The average Nigerian farmer is now in their late 40s to early 50s, often older in practice. Meanwhile, youth participation in agriculture remains low, estimated at between 10 and 33% in a country where more than 70% of the population is under 30. This is not a marginal imbalance. It is a breakdown in the pipeline that sustains domestic food production. Agriculture still employs roughly a third of Nigeria's labor force and contributes about a quarter of the gross domestic product. But its performance is constrained by persistently low productivity. In this special report, Bayo Olaoye examines these constraints and offers solutions to those concerned in the agricultural sector. The constraints are long-standing. What is new is the erosion of the human base needed to sustain even current production levels. Nigeria's agricultural problem is no longer primarily about land and inputs. It is about people. Young Nigerians are not abandoning farming out of apathy. They are responding rationally to incentives. Agriculture offers low and uncertain returns, high exposure to climate and security risk, limited access to finance, and weak market integration. By contrast, even modest urban activities, transport services, retail and digital work provide more predictable income and quicker returns. The opportunity cost is decisive. The result is a quiet but consequential shift in social attitudes. Farming is increasingly seen as a residual occupation rather than a viable career. Intergenerational transfer is weakening. Younger family members decline to inherit farms, while older farmers continue working beyond their productive years without successors. This is not a temporary adjustment. It is a structural disengagement. The economic consequences are already visible. Food inflation has soared in recent years, at times exceeding 40% year-on-year, eroding household purchasing power and deepening poverty. The World Bank has identified rising food prices as a primary driver of food insecurity. Nigeria continues to spend billions of dollars annually on food imports, despite having more than 70 million hectares of arable land. This dependence exposes the economy to currency volatility and external supply shocks. These trends point to a policy mismatch. Monetary tightening, while necessary for macroeconomic stability, cannot address supply-side deficiencies in agriculture. Higher interest rates do not increase yields, attract labor into farming, or reduce post-harvest losses. Inflation, driven by constrained food supply, is not a monetary phenomenon. It is a production problem. Other pressures, including climate variability, flooding, drought, and insecurity in key producing regions, compound the challenge. But even if these were mitigated, the demographic gap would remain. The central issue is not simply how to increase output, but who will produce it. There is some evidence that participation can respond to improved incentives. periods of favorable commodity prices have drawn younger entrants into specific crops, including cocoa, and encouraged part-time farming among urban professionals. These developments suggest that the current trajectory is not inevitable. Where agriculture becomes more profitable and less risky, labor follows. But such responses remain limited and episodic. What is required is a systematic shift. Raising productivity must be central to this, through greater access to inputs, mechanization, and technology. Reducing post-harvest losses requires investment in storage, processing, and logistics. Financing models must reflect the realities of agricultural risk, while land access constraints should be eased to lower barriers to entries. Equally important is the question of perception. Without credible evidence that farming can deliver stable, competitive returns, younger Nigerians will continue to opt out. Policy statements alone will not alter this calculus. Only sustained improvement in productivity and profitability will. Nigeria's economic strategy increasingly emphasizes diversification and resilience. Both objectives depend, at a minimum, on a functioning domestic food system. An aging farming population without renewal implies declining output, rising prices, and greater reliance on imports. It also implies a more fragile macroeconomic position, with food inflation placing persistent pressure on monetary policy and household welfare. A large youth population is only an asset if it participates productively in sectors critical to economic stability. In agriculture, that transition is not occurring at the scale required. The question is no longer abstract. Who will feed Nigeria?
Hello Lagos, make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your code. Person go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait oh, wetin really happen?
Maybe you fake alert the warriors.
Okay, so mona listen oh, eh? If you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbefi. They don't walk that bar road where they warrior for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development wey dey work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we no dey abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
The growing interest in Nigeria's lithium reserves comes as countries worldwide scramble to secure supplies of the mineral which is essential for powering the green energy revolution. In this special report by Bayo Olaoye, the need to harness this resource for growth and development is examined with the evolution of electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems. Lithium is a key component in the production of batteries for electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems, and Nigeria is positioning itself to become a major player in the global lithium market. Nigeria's vast lithium reserves, valued over $34 billion, is no doubt attracting world attention, while lithium factories are springing up in different parts of Nigeria already. The attention of the international mining industry is also focused on lithium because it is critical raw material for the production of solar panels and electric vehicles. Analysts predict that global lithium market could grow robustly over the next decade, driven by the rapid adoption of electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies. Data from a global future market insight showed that the lithium mining industry has emerged as a cornerstone of the clean energy transition, driven by the skyrocketing demand for lithium-ion batteries. The surge in lithium demand is driven largely by the electric vehicles market, which accounted for over 70% of the global lithium consumption in 2024, according to an Iranian-based research firm. With countries such as the United States, China, and members of the European Union pushing for next zero emission by mid-century, lithium demand is expected to escalate further. The federal government, indeed, the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, should intensify efforts geared at renewing and resuscitating the viable lithium industry in the country to its full potential. As Nigeria diversifies its economy into other sectors, the lithium industry offers hope and expectation that this sector would earn more revenue for the country. Nigeria should not just watch with folded arms, but must strive with the political will to develop and strengthen the country's vast lithium reserves.
Jim Ovia, one of the most influential and successful businessmen in Nigeria, who has made a mark in the financial system. He is the founder and chairman of Zenith Bank, one of Africa's largest and most profitable banks. He has been described by Forbes Africa as the godfather of banking in Nigeria.
My name is Jim Ovia. I'm chairman of Zenith Bank, and I thank you all for listening to me.
This illustrious son of Africa was one of the financial leaders who revolutionized the banking sector in Nigeria. Let's take a close look into the life, background, career, and achievements of this enigma, Jim Ovia. Jim Ovia was born on November 4, 1951 in Agbo, Delta State, Nigeria, to a large family as the second son of Chief Obi Olihe of Agbobi in Delta State. Being one from a humble background, Jim attended local schools as he had lost his father at the tender age of 4. His widowed mother, together with his older brother, saw him through school. He had secondary education at Ika Grammar School in Agbo. Due to his interest in business and technology, he proceeded to the United States to study business administration at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, USA, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in 1977. He furthered to University of Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, and bagged a master's degree in business administration in 1979. Jim Ovia is also an alumnus of the prestigious Harvard Business School. Jim Ovia worked briefly as a clerk in Union Bank in 1973 before proceeding for tertiary studies. Upon acquiring immense business knowledge from international institutions, he returned to Nigeria, his home country, and began a career in banking. He continued at this for years, working for banks such as Lion Bank, Merchant Bank of Africa, and International Merchant Bank. After many years in the banking industry, in 1990, Jim came together with some colleagues to found one of Africa's largest and most profitable bank, Zenith Bank. The bank was established with a vision to provide excellent customer service, innovative and technology-driven banking. Zenith Bank flourished as it drew customers who sought excellence in financial services. What started with an asset of $4 million and about 50 staff has grown into over $24 billion in assets and shareholders' fund of more than $3 billion as of June 2022. Zenith Bank is listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange and London Stock Exchange. Jim Ovia served as Zenith Bank's Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director from 1990 to 2010, and then Chairman from 2010 to 2014. After a brief break, he returned as Chairman of the bank in 2016 and remains so till date. Under his leadership, Zenith Bank has grown to become one of the leading banks in Nigeria and Africa, standing tall among some of Nigeria's first-generation banks of repute, a feat rare for second-generation banks established in a time of tension between military and civilian regimes and economic instability.
We will build our own roads to our branches if we're building branches in some cities, towns where the roads are not good enough. We have also bought power plants, generating sets to power electricity into our building. When we do all this, we also even had dug borehole to supply water to the building. When we do all this, what I personally call it is BYOI, bring your own infrastructure or build your own infrastructure.
Jim Ovia served as Zenith Bank's Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director from 1990 to 2010, and then Chairman from 2010 to 2014. After a brief break, he returned as Chairman of the bank in 2016 and remains so till date. Under his leadership, Zenith Bank has grown to become one of the leading banks in Nigeria and Africa, standing tall among some of Nigeria's first-generation banks of repute, a feat rare for second-generation banks established in a time of tension between military and civilian regimes. Zenith Bank has diversified its services to include insurance, pensions, stockbroking, and investment banking. The bank has won awards and recognition for its performance, governance, innovation, and social responsibility, inspired by its chairman's belief in giving back to community.
Really, it's my special pleasure, my honor indeed, for this opportunity offered by AAI to be awarded in the category of Business Leadership Award for 2017.
As an entrepreneur, Jim Ovia has made investments in sectors other than banking. They include oil and gas, telecommunication, real estate, power generation, media, and most recently, education. He is the founder and chancellor, James Hope University, Lekki, Lagos State, which has been approved by the National Universities Commission, NUC, to offer postgraduate degrees in business courses. Jim Ovia is a man who believes in giving back to society. He has engaged in philanthropic works through his foundations, Mankind United to support total education, MUSTE, and Youth Empowerment ICT Foundation, These foundations award scholarships to indigenous students and promote information and communication technology in Nigeria through various initiatives. Ovia has made donations towards courses and institutions. They include Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Nigerian Internet Group, NIG, Lagos State University, and National Information Technology Advisory Council, just to mention a few. In recognition of his contributions, Jim Ovia is a recipient of many honors and awards. In 2012, the University of Benin awarded him an honorary doctorate degree. Former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2022 conferred him with the national honor of the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR. Also in 2022, Jim Ovia was conferred with the National Productivity Order of Merit, NPOM award, by the federal government of Nigeria. Jim Ovia is a proud member of the World Economic Forum, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He is also a member of several boards and councils.
We can't afford to lose depositors' money. We can't afford to lose money that belongs to stakeholders. So you must structure your industry in such a way that the best and nothing but the best are there.
As chairman of Zenith Bank with more than 9% stake, Jim Ovia in 2015 was estimated by Forbes to have a net worth of $550 million. This net worth obviously has been surpassed since then. Jim Ovia, as a business person, founded 5 companies. They are Zenith Bank PLC, the Quantum Group, Visaphone Communications, Quantum Luxury Properties, Civic Center Towers, and Cyberspace Network. Jim is member, Honorary International Investors Council. Kay Ovia is CEO, Quantum Markets Limited, a firm that offers stock brokerage services. She sits on the board of several organizations and is chairman, board of directors of Cyberspace Limited, a leading software engineering company. Cyberspace Limited is one of the pioneers in provision of internet services in Nigeria, providing network and software services. Kay, being at the head of a tech giant in Nigeria, teamed up with her husband, Jim, to strategically deploy robust IT infrastructure at Zenith Bank, which resulted in the development of digital products and technology-driven banking in Nigeria. Kay is an alumnus of Enugu State University of Technology, SOUQ, where she holds an MBA in management. She is much given to philanthropy, with several initiatives to transform lives, particularly those of the underprivileged. One of her projects targeted at children and youths, Star Rising Talent Hunt, aims at discovering and projecting hidden talents. Jim is married to businesswoman and philanthropist Kay Ovia. She's also a hotelier, proudly running Starwood Hotels. Jim and Kay Ovia are blessed with 5 children: Isioma, Zephyr, Tito, Tommy, and Jesse. As a family man, Ovia enjoys spending time with his family. He also likes reading and traveling. In order to pass on his vast wealth of knowledge on business and finance to African entrepreneurs, Jim Ovia authored a book titled Africa, Rise and Shine. The book was published in 2018 by Forbes Books. The book was written after he featured in an issue of Forbes and it became the magazine's best-selling edition in Africa that it had to be reprinted 4 times. The book, Africa Rise and Shine, paints the picture of his humble beginning from the small town of Agbo in Delta State, and against all odds, pushed through to become a global business icon while providing insight on how to conquer challenges in African markets, taking advantage of the opportunities. The man, Jim Ovia, is a firm believer of Africa being a continent abundant with natural and human resources. He has constantly pitched the continent as a land filled with investment opportunities in international business forums, such as the Harvard Business School Annual Africa Business Conference, Bloomberg Global Business Forum, Commonwealth Business Forum, and the World Economic Forum, where he has been invited to participate and even deliver keynote address. Jim Ovia remains one of the pride of Africa and a great contributor to Nigeria's economy and the financial landscape in Africa.
Generation of Nigerian artists is breathing life back into the age-old craft of bead making, a tradition that has adorned the necks, wrists, and waists of Nigerian women for centuries. Beads have always held a significant place in Nigerian culture, symbolizing wealth, status, and identity. In ancient times, they were used as currency and were integral in various rites of passage from birth to marriage. However, with the advent of modernity, the demand for traditional bead making dwindled as imported jewelry and contemporary fashion took center stage. In this special report, Bayo Olaoye will explore the noticeable resurgence in the popularity of beads, fueled by renewed interest in African heritage and craftsmanship. This revival is not merely a nostalgic nod to the past, but a vibrant contemporary movement that blends tradition with modern fashion trends. Artisans are at the forefront of this revival, infusing new life into beadwork by incorporating innovative designs that appeal to today's fashion-conscious consumers. Their collections, which range from bead necklaces to bold statement earrings, have found their way into the collections of top Nigerian designers and onto the necks of celebrities, musicians, actors, actresses, and socialites, both at home and abroad. One of the driving forces behind this resurgence is the growing pride in African identity. As more Nigerians embrace their cultural roots, there is a rising demand for fashion that reflects this heritage. Beads, with their deep cultural significance, are the perfect medium for expressing this identity. They are no longer seen as relics of the past, but symbols of a proud and vibrant culture. Moreover, the bead industry has benefited from the global shift towards sustainable and ethical fashion. Consumers are increasingly seeking products that are not only stylish, but also environmentally friendly and socially responsible. Handmade beads, often crafted from locally sourced materials, fit this trend perfectly. Thus, the artisanal nature of beadwork ensures that each piece is unique, telling a story of the hands that made it and the culture it represents. This renewed interest in beadwork has also had significant economic implications. Small-scale artisans and bead makers, many of whom are women, are finding new opportunities to market their products both locally and internationally. The rise of online platforms and social media has made it easier for these artisans to reach a broader audience, leading to increased sales and a more sustainable livelihood. Furthermore, the Nigerian government and non-governmental organizations have begun to recognize the potential of the bead industry as a tool for economic empowerment. Initiatives that provide training and resources to bead makers are helping preserve this craft while also boosting the local economy. However, the resurgence of beadwork is not without its challenges. Artisans face competition from mass-produced, cheaper alternatives that flood the market. To survive, they must continually innovate and differentiate their products from these imitations. For many, this means striking a balance between preserving traditional techniques and incorporating contemporary designs. As Nigerian beadwork continues to gain recognition on the global stage, it is clear that this ancient craft is more than just a passing trend. It is a testament to the resilience and creativity of Nigerian artisans who are redefining what it means to be fashionable in today's world. It is a reminder that while fashion may evolve, the cultural significance of beads remain timeless. The resurgence of bead making in Nigeria is a powerful reflection of the country's rich cultural heritage. It is a movement that honors the past while embracing the future, proving that beads are not just ornaments, but symbols of identity, pride, and resilience.
Welcome to Words of Our Fathers, where we talk about the richness and the wealth of precious words used by our forefathers centuries ago to make the society a better place. Those words are still relevant now, and we should not jettison them as being old and antiquated. Today we'll look at a proverb that says, if the calabash owner says that his calabash is worthless, others will join him to use the calabash to pack rubbish. It's talking about good character. We must try to have proper demeanor, proper behavior anywhere. People should be very wary of anger and the misuse of words. Our character will speak for us. People should not fake their personality. Your personality comes the way you show yourself to the public. In other words, all of us must learn how to behave properly. People jump queues, even in the banks. People do all sorts of things. They throw rubbish on the road because there's no enforcement. People make noise anywhere, regardless of whoever is bothered. So we better be careful. We need proper behavior, not only for ourselves, but for the little ones around us. The words of our fathers are words of wisdom. I am Bayo Olawi.
In April 1960, just months before Nigeria's independence, a 26-year-old ascended one of the most revered thrones in Yoruba land. His name, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona. His reign, almost 65 years. His legacy, a modernized crown, a globalized culture, and an unwavering voice for truth. Born 10th of May 1934 into the royal house of Anikinaya to Prince Rufai Adetono Adeleke and Ajibabi Adetono Ne Onashile, Sikiru Kayode Adetono's royal destiny was set early. He attended Baptist School, Ireko, in 1943, Ogbere United Primary School, and Ansarudin School, Ijebu-Ode, before enrolling at Oluiwa College, now Adeola Odutola College, from 1951 to 1956. He later worked briefly in the audit department of the Western region in Ibadan before leaving for the United Kingdoms in 1958 to study accountancy. But history had other plans. On the 2nd of April 1960, he was installed as the 58th Awujale of Ijebu land, taking the regnal name Ogbagba Agbotewole II. Young, confident, and stepping into leadership just as the new Nigeria was emerging, marking the beginning of one of the longest and the most consequential reigns in Nigeria's history. Despite his demanding role, Oba Adetono maintained close family ties. He was married and blessed with children, who were raised in the blend of royal tradition and modern education that defined his worldview. Known to be a devoted family man, he valued privacy in personal matters, but ensured his children had opportunities for education both within and outside Nigeria. Socially, he was at ease in multiple wards, equally comfortable in palace courts, university lecture halls, diplomatic gatherings, or informal community events. He cultivated friendships across business, politics, and academia, yet was deeply rooted in his hometown, often mingling with his people during festivals and communal projects. The coup that saved a king. But destiny tested him. In the early 1980s, a government commission of inquiry moved against him. Suspension and deposition loomed. The order was to take effect in early 1984. Then came 31st December 1983. A military coup swept away the civilian administration, and with it, the threat to his throne. The Awujale returned more respected, more resolute. Beyond royal ceremonies, Oba Adetono built a reputation as a monarch unafraid to challenge authority. He spoke plainly on governance, justice, and public accountability. In 2016, he institutionalized those ideas by endowing a 250 million naira professorial chair in governance at Olabisi Onabanjo University, OOU, the first of its kind by a Nigerian traditional ruler. It was a deliberate investment in shaping ethical leadership for generations to come. The Oju Dioba Festival long predicted his reign, but under Adetono, it became an international spectacle, a celebration of Ijebu identity, Yoruba elegance, interfaith harmony, and cultural soft power. It drew politicians, captains of industry, global tourists, and the diaspora to Ijebu-Ode each year, making it both a cultural statement and an economic engine. Adetona presided over a kingdom of religious plurality, Islam, Christianity, and traditional worship, often using his platform to advocate tolerance. Though a devout Muslim and president of the United Muslim Council, he regularly attended Christian events and encouraged interfaith harmony. And now, the final chapter. On 13th July 2025, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona Ogbagba Agbotewole II passed away at the age of 91. He was buried according to Ijebu customs in solemn rites, shielded from public view. Attention now turns to succession and the weight of following one of Nigeria's longest-serving traditional rulers. Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona reigned across 3 Nigerias: the colonial twilight, the start of military rule, and the promises and failures of democracy. He proved that a throne could be modern without losing its roots, bold without losing its identity, and proud without closing its doors. His voice will echo in the university lectures he inspired, the festival he globalized, the cultural pride he nurtured, and in the personal values he instilled in his family. As Ijebuland turns the page, one question lingers: whether or not the next Awujale will match relevance with integrity and tradition with transformation, following the path of the past hero. Grace Komolafe, SOUQ Perspective.
For centuries, much of Africa remained unknown to the outside world. Not because it was empty, but because it was unexplored, misunderstood, and unmapped. In the 18th century, European knowledge of Africa barely extended beyond its coast. Maps of interior were often filled with guesswork or left blank entirely. As one observer noted at the time, map makers filled the unknown with drawings of animals because they simply did not know what lay beyond. This began to change in the late 1700s. Explorers set out into the interior, driven by curiosity, ambition, and the search for trade routes. One of the greatest mysteries was the source of the Nile. Scottish explorer James Bruce traveled deep into Ethiopia in 1770, determined to find it. But even discovery came with uncertainty. Bruce identified a source of the Blue Nile, but later realized that another river might be even more significant. Yet, like many explorers of the time, he focused on his own claim, highlighting how knowledge of Africa was still incomplete and contested. Back in Europe, Africa was still largely a mystery. Stories from explorers sparked fascination, but also skepticism. Some accounts were dismissed as exaggerations. The result, a continent rich in reality, but poorly understood globally. Yet beneath this uncertainty was a growing interest in trade, in resources, in access. Understanding Africa's interior was not just about geography. It was about economic opportunity and strategic advantage. Today, the challenge is different, but familiar. Africa is no longer unknown, but is still often misrepresented or misunderstood. And just like in the past, those who understand the continent best will shape its future. Here is a look at the desert route that connected different parts of Africa, areas that were known locally but not fully understood by outsiders at the time.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Fellow Nigerians, did you know that constituency and executive projects in your communities are not gifts from your legislators? They are projects sponsored by the legislators and funded by the federal government to improve your life and the lives of those around you. These projects belong to you. Without your vigilance, they might never be completed. Don't allow them to fade away into unfulfilled promises. Stand up, take ownership, monitor their progress, demand accountability, and report concerns to ICPC. Call our toll-free line now on 0800-2255-4272 or WhatsApp only on 0806-656-4726. This message is brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, with support from MacArthur Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Development in Africa, CDD.
In Nigeria, when you hear technology, innovation, and e-commerce, then you begin to think of the 21st century visionary leaders who have availed us the luxury of connecting with the world without leaving our spaces. Nigeria, alongside some other developing countries, has occupied the tech space, networking and making a brilliant impact around the world, all thanks to people like LSK. I am Grace Komolafe. Join me on the Corporate Maverick as we unveil the journey of a foresighted leader who foresaw the transformation of technology decades ago. The year 2001, known as the third millennium, stands out for some individuals. It was thought like every other regular year to some people, as they express the excitement that comes with experiencing a new millennium. While many carry on with the feeling of entering the 21st century, some visionary individuals saw it as a strategic period to bet their thought-provoking plans and business goals. Among these visionary leaders and innovators is Leo Stan Eke, founder of Xenox Technology, bringing this tech-oriented company to life in 2001. How much do you know about this tech and business-driven giant? Who is Leo Stan Eke? Dr. Leonard Stanley Nnamdi Eke, popularly known as Leo Stan Eke, is one of Nigeria's dynamic and influential figures, an African entrepreneur born into the family of Ihentuge Eke on February 22, 1956, in Imo State, Nigeria. His mom, a dietitian, and dad, a nurse. His root is traced back to Ubomiri Mbaitoli, where he was raised in the household that valued education and hard work. His parents instilled in him the values of discipline and perseverance from a young age. It was within this nurturing environment that Eke's entrepreneurial spirit began to take shape. Like many visionaries, Dr. Eke's journey to success was paved with academic excellence. He attended Holy Ghost College in Owerri for his secondary education, where he honed his intellect and ambition. Eke's dream of becoming the biggest transport company owner in Nigeria changed as a result of his encounter in India, where he had his university studies. It was a turnaround moment in his life, In India, he pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics from Punjab University. And the exposure to India's vibrant economy left an indelible mark on him and then tilted towards more realistic business ideas. This led him to get full involvement into ICT.
So I'm a very good testimony of an African who started from nothing, okay, and got somewhere, not there, right? Okay, so in summary, I came in here first of all to the University of Nottingham, or Nottingham University. I was in Cork City University, where I was doing computer science, and I wanted to specialize in user interface as a postgraduate course. Okay, and the system, which I'm sure still exists in the UK, is that you have university counselors who observe you in classes and direct you properly. And they thought since I was going back to Africa, there was no computers. And if I got there, I could be frustrated for another 32 years. So they discussed with my parents, and they wanted to know if I could stay in the UK and continue computer science. I said, no, I was going back to Nigeria. I have passion to change the country, and by extension, the continent.
He later went on to earn a Master of Science in Risk Management from the Exton University of Nottingham, England, further enhancing his acumen in the field. With his tech startups dating back to the 80s, AK can be put in the bracket of visionaries who saw that ICT would define the world in no distant time. His ICT Solutions company commenced operation in 1989, focusing on desktop publishing and computer graphics. Over the last 3 decades, the company extended operations from Lagos to Port Harcourt and Abuja, implementing several ICT projects across the oil and gas, telecoms, manufacturing, and public sectors.
I started small, like any other entrepreneur you read today. Okay, some started in the garage. Okay, most of them didn't inherit wealth. Now, so how could they have started? You start with your own. During our time, you have to start with your own sweat. Okay, until you build such, get to such a level with a system and structure in place. And then people trust you. But because our kids today pass through business schools, connected to people, okay, and they now want to go from average above. You understand? Instead of starting, a lot of us started from -1.
Leo Stan Akers' major hits into the business world commenced with the establishment of Xenox Technology Limited in 2001. With a fervent desire to contribute to Nigeria's technological space, he embarked on a mission to manufacture computers locally. Now a world-class ICT company providing innovative products and solutions. Under his leadership, Xenox Computers have emerged as a trailblazer in the industry, earning accolades for its quality and innovation. One of his notable achievements was the attainment of the Windows Hardware Quality Lab Testing (WHQL) certification, showing Xenox's commitment to excellence. In 2013, the company made headlines with the launch of its computer tablet line, ZPad, marking another milestone in its illustrious journey. Dr. Akers' entrepreneurial prowess extends beyond the realm of technology. In 2018, his company Xenox made waves with the acquisition of Konga.com, a leading e-commerce platform in Nigeria. This landmark deal underscored Akers' strategic vision and his unwavering dedication to driving innovation in diverse sectors. Konga.com was founded by Sim Shagaya in July 2012 as a third-party online marketplace. 99% of its shares were acquired by Xenos in February 2018. 3 months later, Konga merged with Xenos retail outfit Udala to form the biggest e-commerce company in Africa, retaining the brand name Konga. Leonard Stanley Ake also founded BuyRightAfrica.com Limited in 2008, at a time when credit card and e-payment infrastructures were still strange to many Nigerians. He did this to resolve funding issues for ICT projects and companies. He partnered with international financiers to help Africans acquire technology and compete globally. Some other of his establishments are Technology Distribution Limited, Tax Direct Limited, and iTech Solutions. He is involved in ICT Brokers and ICT Connect.
Okay, but mine had a call. I had a call on the tech sector, and I've been consistent. And if you remember, my first step was to deal with the doubting Thomases, the media people. And it was like an evangelism. If you prove your worth to press people, to media people, because these are the critics of our time, then they follow you. You get to your destination faster. So when I did the whole media houses, transitioning them to digital economy through digital processing, through from typesetting to desktop publishing, computer graphics, okay, and multimedia. Then they started spreading the news. But again, we had to enhance that profile to the corporate world so that people can run offices with data analytics to guide them on advice, projections, okay, and where they're headed to. And then even our election. Okay, so today there would have been crisis in the economy if elections don't have facts and figures. And we did that with the DDC, and then did authentication with a card reader.
If you've come this far, kindly like, comment, and share. Throughout AK's career, he remained committed to empowering others and fostering socio-economic development. His philanthropic endeavors and advocacy for youth empowerment reflects his belief in the transformative power of entrepreneurship. He launched the Computerized Nigeria project in August 2000, thereby encouraging development and the use of computers. He also launched the Can I scheme, providing affordable laptops to young Nigerians with a repayment plan of 24 months window. AK's foundation furthers his charitable efforts, supporting various causes with different donations across the country.
Now, I see entrepreneurs trying to live big. Are you with me? Yeah. I see entrepreneurs trying to show off. You must have incubation period. Every successful entrepreneurs are seen to be stingy because they know the value of every dollar spent. But they use the same money to sustain the society. Okay, so I just want to advise Nigerians here. I see a lot of you startups now selling debt. It means technically you are leaving the company. And if I'm an investor, I watch your lifestyle. First of all, I see an entrepreneur, Nigerian entrepreneur. He hasn't started, he has expensive cars. Entrepreneur startups don't drive the best cars. They hide until they emerge.
He was bestowed with the Icon of Hope Award by former President Olusegun Obasanjo on October 1, 2002. He also got Nigerian Science and Technology Achievers of the Year 2003 and Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, OFR, in 2004. AK is also a member of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and holds a life membership, Nigeria Institute of International Affairs. He also holds an honorary doctorate in business administration from Imo State University, Owerri, Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and the University of Jos. He is a fellow of the Lagos State Polytechnic, Lagos, Federal Polytechnic, Ida, and Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, Imo State.
Leadership is big crisis in the third world. Big subject to discuss. I don't have a complete answer, but as an entrepreneur, I can create platforms for you to decide who should be your leader. But my interest is that I'm excited with this 21st century because this is the only century God did not create any person to be poor. In the past,
Many were called and few were chosen. In 21st century, many are called and many will be chosen. But you have to decide if you want to be one of those to be chosen.
Leonard Stanley Nnamdi Eke is married to Chioma Eke, the CEO of Technology Distributions Limited, TD Africa, and together they have raised 3 sons and 2 daughters who are doing well in their respective fields of endeavors, just like their parents. As Dr. Leonard Stanley Nnamdi Eke continues to chart new territories and inspire future generations, it speaks to the limitless potential of the African entrepreneurial spirit. With his visionary leadership and unwavering resolve, Dr. Eke embodies the essence of innovation and resilience, creating indelible marks on Nigeria's business in Africa and humanity. Leonard Stanley Nnamdi Eke.
Afrobeats is a classic overnight success story, except it didn't happen overnight. I'm happy to be here. One of the key things about the Omniverse is that it's designed to go beyond an event and designed to be fully something that people can engage beyond the summit. The point being that Nigeria has so much to bring to the world in terms of these things, but we will be bringing fresh energy, fresh ideas, a fresh engagement, and we're obviously open to collaboration. But hip-hop, it never dies. What's the difference between Thor and Shango? Thor is approaching $50 billion in revenue. Shango's broke somewhere outside Lagos. And that's a lack of imagination on our part, Africa, and they're all Nigerian. So to be seen and to be noticed is very hard if you're not in the place where all the noise is being made.
In a land surrounded by desert, a single river gave rise to power, wealth, and one of the earliest states in history. This is ancient Egypt, Africa's first great economic and political system. Ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet, the Black Land, a reference to the fertile soils of the Nile floods plain. Beyond it lay the Desert, the Red Land, the desert stretching east and west. And the Nile itself, they simply called it the river, a narrow strip of life in a vast, unforgiving landscape. To outsiders, Egypt's dependence on the Nile was unmistakable. The Greek historians Herodotus described this as the gift of the Nile. Without the river, there was no agriculture, no surplus, no state. At the center of the system was the ruler, the pharaoh, a term derived from pharaoh, meaning great house, referring to royal palace. This was not just leadership, it was structured authority tied to land, production, and control. One of the earliest organized systems of governance on the African continent. Even the name Egypt tells a story of interaction. Later, Arab rulers would call it Masra, a civilization shaped internally but named and reinterpreted by outsiders over time. What made Egypt powerful was not just the presence of the Nile, but the ability to organize around it. Seasonal floods meant predictable agriculture, food production, population stability. From this game structure, labor systems, and long-term planning, the lesson is not about the river. It is about control, coordination, and the use of resources. Across Africa today, resources are abundant, but outcomes depend on how they are managed. Because from the very beginning, Africa's story has never just been about what it has, but what it does with it. Here's the Nile Corridor, the narrow stretch of fertile land surrounded by desert where this civilization took shape.
Hello, Lagos. Make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your call. Person go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
Then they use fake alert the warriors.
Okay, so Mona listen, if you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbefi. They don't walk Daba road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development with the work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go reach 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
Rising demand for healthy proteins, snail-based cosmetics, and export opportunities have driven a surge in Nigeria's snail farming industry, far outpacing local production and opening a significant gap for investors to fill. Snail farming, or heliculture, is rapidly emerging as a profitable agribusiness in Nigeria, offering sustainable solutions to food security, poverty reduction, and income generation. Rich in protein and essential nutrients, snails are incredibly sought after, fueled by a growing population, a rising interest in healthy diets, and their status as a prized delicacy in Nigerian cuisine. This expanding industry promotes substantial economic opportunities for both farmers and investors. There is a huge and growing demand for snails, which are regarded as a luxury cuisine due to their nutritional benefits. The snail industry in Nigeria is estimated at over 15 billion naira, and the business can be started with little capital. Snail farming is one of the most sustainable and money-spinning agribusiness that many people ignore. For salary earners and investors wanting to increase their income, it's an excellent choice, while it's not time-consuming and highly profitable. Agricultural experts have emphasized the export potential of snails and have urged investors and companies to seize the opportunity, as it was a lucrative venture with strong export prospects due to high global demand. According to them, the market exists, but what is needed was increased production by mobilizing people to invest and scale up production. Snail farming is emerging as one of the most accessible agribusiness opportunities in Nigeria due to its low capital requirement and high profit potential. With an initial investment as modest as 50,000 to 100,000 naira, the business offers the potential to grow as high as 5 million naira annually. Setting up a small farm is both affordable and straightforward. Basic materials like corrugated sheets, baskets, old tires, or wood are sufficient to construct a functional snail pen. Feeding is also budget-friendly, making the overall startup cost even more appealing. A bag of snail feed is between 10,000 and 16,000 naira per 25 kg, and you can use just 2 bags to feed 50 snails for 3 months. Everything needed for snail feeding has been provided by nature. Nature itself provides most of what snails need to survive, from vegetables to watermelons and even leftover foods. One crucial factor, however, in successful snail farming is choosing the right species. Agricultural experts recommended going for the giant African land snails, which come in 3 main species. Aricantina marigata lays between 6 and 14 eggs up to 4 times a year. Achatina achatina produces 80 to 350 eggs per clutch and lays 1 to 3 times annually. And the most profitable among them all, Achatina fuka, can lay between 100 and 400 eggs, as many as 6 times a year. Despite Achatina fuka's prolific breeding, experts tend to favor Achatina marigata, as it is considered the largest land snail in the world, and its size and market appeal make it a favorite among both farmers and consumers. According to experts, achatina also remains a strong choice, particularly due to its adaptability to the African climate. The global snail market reached $647.4 million in 2024 and is projected to grow from $706.7 million in 2025 to $1.4 billion by 2034, according to Global Market Insight, a market intelligence platform. France leads global production with over 300,000 tons annually, followed by Italy and Spain producing 20,000 and 15,000 tons respectively, solidifying Europe's dominance in the snail farming industry. Chiki Okulu, SOUQ News TV.
Nigeria, rich in traditional and cultural heritage, is intentional about promoting history and retaining cultural values. The country has succeeded in preserving its identities and that of the forefathers for ages through folklores, folk tales, traditional ceremonies, community-based initiatives, cuisine, and most notably, museums and cultural centers. These institutions serve as invaluable repositories of history, ensuring that future generations remain connected to their roots and appreciate the diverse cultural tapestry of the nation. In Nigeria, there are over 38 museums comprising national, state, and privately owned institutions scattered across the country. Each of these museums plays a crucial role in safeguarding Nigeria's vast historical wealth, with collections that reflect the uniqueness of different ethnic groups, traditional practices, and historical transitions over time. In Lagos, the National Museum, located at the center of the city in Onikon, claims a notable collection of Nigerian art, including pieces of statuary, carvings, archaeological, and ethnographical exhibits, among others. Of particular significance is the terracotta human head, known as Jema head, dated between 900 and 200 BC, which is part of the renowned Nok culture. The piece is named after Jema, the village where it was discovered. The museum is administered by the National Commission for Museums and Monuments and remain a key educational and historical attractions for visitors. Another prominent artifact housed within the museum is the famous Benin bronze head, an evidence to the artistic excellence of the Benin Kingdom.
The museum has a lot of functions, some of which are to educate, to entertain, research, interpretation, conservation and preservation of our cultural heritage. And then the museum was established, Lagos Museum particularly, was established in 1957. It was formerly referred to as Department of Antiquities. So, well, the journey so far has been interesting because, we are here, to showcase our cultural heritage, not just to the country, but to the world. And we have series of, events that we do, that involve the community. And because of that, we create that awareness that this is where you can come and, see and feel your cultural heritage, your traditions, your history. Because it is said that a people without a history is a people without identity. So the museum portrays this to the people. And over the years, that is what we've been doing. Through education, community participation, we have galleries, that we display some of our objects, our antiquities, that showcase our patrimony and all there is to know about our cultural inheritance. And so the museum, has been doing that over the years, and, we still keep doing more.
The Lagos National Museum was founded in July 1957 by English archaeologist Kenneth Murray. following the submission of architectural sketch in 1948 at a conference on museum policy in Nigeria. Kenneth More collected several traditional masks from Cross River State to display in the museum's early years, according to historical records. The primary purpose of structuring the museum was to preserve Nigeria's historical artifacts and cultural heritage. Fortunately, that vision has remained alive to this day. The museum serves as a significant tourist attraction for Lagos residents and international visitors alike, offering an immersive glimpse into the nation's past. Some of the remarkable artifacts currently on display at the museum include the bullet-ridden car in which former Nigerian head of state, General Murtala Muhammad, was assassinated, pictures of previous rulers and presidents of Nigeria from different eras, a diverse collection of cultural drums, tools, and ceremonial staffs from various ethnic groups, historical crowns and caps of revered traditional rulers symbolizing their power and authority, photographs of Queen Elizabeth II and her entourage during her visit to Nigeria, reflecting moments of colonial history.
It's so immense. Museum is a reminder of what the society is all about, because a number of us are missing the link. We don't even know the role, the significance of the society we find ourselves because of foreign influence. But when you come to museum, it will bring your mind back to the original habitat, the way of life of people, how things should be seen in the society, and how we should react to phenomenal changes in our environment. Basically, we'll be doing this work of educating the general public, not only Nigerians, over 20-something years here, and the impact has been so tremendous, to the point that what we do at the museum is in consonance with the curriculum of our institutions, from primary, nursery, primary, secondary, even tertiary, even people in their corporate organization. They deem it to come to National Museum anytime they feel like we are missing the link, we have missed a lot of things concerning the way of life of our forefathers. You know, even here, apart from that, we do have what is called seminar. We organize seminar for expatriates, for individuals. They come around on Wednesdays to come and listen and learn on cultural-based subjects.
I think it's great. I mean, I particularly like the circle of life that are presented in here, right? From birth to reincarnation to external influences. I think I gave a good history of Nigeria. I learned a lot about that. There seems to be some real big connection between Nigeria and Benin in terms of the history that I wasn't totally aware of. I was able to see the different artifacts and stuff that were presented. So it was quite interesting. They did, I think, a pretty good job doing a comprehensive tour or comprehensive history of Nigeria and its culture and its surrounding areas.
A visit to the Lagos National Museum offers an enriching experience, transporting visitors back in time and allowing them to connect with Nigeria's rich and diverse history. The museum provides an opportunity to explore stories of resilience, artistry, and governance that have shaped the nation. Whether you are a history enthusiast, a student, or simply a curious traveler, stepping into this museum promises a nostalgic journey through Nigeria's past, fostering a deeper appreciation for its cultural legacy. Nigeria continues to reflect the stories that shapes its people, steadfast in its commitment to promoting history and preserving its cultural values for generations to come. Grace Komalafe, SOUQ Perspective.
Across the lush southern corridors of Nigeria, a quiet revolution is taking root rooted in the oil palm plantations of Edo and Delta states. Once the pride of West Africa and a global supplier of palm oil in the pre-independence era, Nigeria is returning to its agricultural strength. The rise in demand for palm oil, both domestically and globally, is fueling a new boom, one that is redefining investment flows, empowering communities, and reawakening an indigenous industry long overshadowed by crude oil. Investors have earmarked over $855 million for oil palm cultivation in Edo State alone. Under the Edo Oil Palm Development Program, 114,000 hectares of land have been allocated, with 65,000 already accessed and 18,000 hectares cultivated. Companies like Okomu Oil and Presco, both listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, are not just expanding, they are thriving, despite economic headwinds. In Delta State, the story is equally robust. Through the Delcom cooperative model, 130,000 hectares have been released by local communities, engaging 145 companies and over 3,000 smallholder farmers. This homegrown initiative is not just restoring livelihoods, it is building wealth from the roots up. This resurgence reflects the deeper uniqueness of Africa, our ability to blend tradition with innovation and to transform natural abundance into economic might. As Nigeria reduces palm oil imports, saves foreign exchange, and creates thousands of jobs, the continent watches. The palm oil boom is not just an agricultural story, it is an African story. One of resilience, self-reliance, and a return to prosperity built on the soil of our ancestors. I'm Moyosore Adebi for SOUQ News TV.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to watch, always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Rest isn't laziness. It's your body's reset button. Hello, my name is Emmanuel Olise, and this is SOUQ Health Tips. Today, let's discuss one of the most underrated health boosters, sleep. You can eat right and exercise daily, but without good sleep, your body never truly recovers. Number 1, sleep is cellular repair. During deep sleep, your body heals, builds muscles, and restores energy. It's also when your brain clears out toxins and strengthens memory. 2, stick to a schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body thrives on rhythm. 3, create a sleep sanctuary. Dim lights, cool temperature, and 0 screens before bed. Your bedroom should tell your body it's time to rest. 4, avoid late caffeine and heavy meals. They interfere with deep sleep stages. Opt for herbal tea or light snacks instead. In summary, sleep isn't optional, it's essential medicine. Protect it like you would any prescription. I'm Emmanuel Olise, and this is SOUQ Health Tips. Sleep well, your body's counting on it.
Across the Atlantic Ocean, a system emerged that would reshape Africa and the world. It was built on trade but driven by human suffering. The Middle Passage refers to the transatlantic journey taken by enslaved Africans, forcibly transported from their homelands to the Americas. This was part of a wider trading system linking Africa, Europe, and the Americas. Millions were taken, creating one of the largest forced migrations in history. The journey across the Atlantic was brutal. Men, women, and children were packed into ships under extreme conditions. Many did not survive the crossing. For those who did, life would never be the same. The slave trade became a major economic system driven by demand for labor in the Americas. African societies were drawn into this system in complex ways as suppliers, intermediaries, and victims. The consequences were profound. Communities were disrupted. Populations were depleted. The long-term effect shaped Africa's development trajectory for centuries. This chapter reveals a harsh truth. Economic system can generate wealth while causing deep and lasting damage. Today, the legacy of this period still echoes in global inequalities and in this structure of international economic relationships. Because history is not just about what happened, but what continues to shape the present.